The rumor mill has spun up once again this week. This time it's dealing with the upcoming predecessor to the beloved Switch. When's it coming? What's it gonna be? Honestly, who the hell knows? But as always, let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, YouTube? And welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 61 for this, the first week of August 2023. I'm your host, Mike C, and joining me once again, as always, every time, all the time, the man with the best tongue on YouTube, the Birdman himself, Logan B. What's going on?
I would want to ask how you know about my tongue, but
they don't need to know.
I kind of don't want to know that information.
Well, you should know the information, but they don't need to know.
I guess so.
They don't need to know the information.
But this is a pretty exciting week. I mean, again, pretty decent week on news, but I would say that we have a lot more to say too about what we've been doing. A surprise game we've been playing. Both me and Mike together have played this week that we'll be getting to in the rundown. But other than that, I really want to get into this. So I'm going to bring it to you and ask, how was your week?
Pretty good. I watched a new show. I'll get into that. Very excited to talk about it, dude. It's a banger of a show. So, and then, yeah, we both decided to play a game. Very last minute decision by me. Also something cool. So I've gotten back into the gym recently. I'm trying to get that body ready for the cruise I'm taking later this year. By the way, I wasn't flashing everything. I was just trying to get.
And I was like, calm down now.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get these things out of my way. They sometimes fold over, and I don't like them. But in doing so, I decided that, well, let me back up. So, while I was working at the gym and I was, doing training and all that, a lot of people talked about different supplements you can take, and I've kind of been adverse to taking a lot of that stuff. But this one guy that was kind of like my boss, I guess, he was the head training manager, where I was the assistant. He kind of turned me on to the idea of testosterone and how it's really not.
He turned you on?
That's the correct terminology. He turned me
on to an idea.
Yeah,
I'm joking with you. I know, okay. I was joking with you.
Okay. We're 8 episodes away. All right, chill out. But he turned me on to the idea of testosterone and how it can actually have some good benefits, especially for male people in terms of the gym and just personal life. So I started last week. I'm on my second week of my first cycle of testosterone supplements and pills. So, I mean, it seems to be working. My second week in the gym, my numbers went up pretty high. Now, I understand that that's not going to be consistent. It's getting back in the gym. Muscles have started growing again, but it seems to be working. I will say, side effect, I'm horny all the time. So, I guess it's working. But the libido kick up is real.
That's why you're so angry.
That's probably. I mean, that's what we talked about last night. That's probably why I'm mad all the time, because I have like this excessive need to like have a male sort of like dominance or something. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna keep taking them. I got 8 weeks on, 4 weeks off, and then I'll see where I'm at after those 3 months. So see where I'm at, and see if I look like The Rock or not. I'm not gonna look like The Rock, don't worry. But yeah,
that'd be pretty sick.
That would be pretty cool. I feel like we'd be more. I feel like we'd be more successful if I looked like The Rock.
I'll have to try to be Kevin Hart for you. But I'm pretty sure I'm taller than you. Am I?
No, I'm pretty sure we're like the same. I'm 6'1", so I'm pretty sure we're like the same height.
Yeah, then we're the same height then.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's exciting. I love the gym. I've just been kind of unmotivated. So I bought some intense ass pre-workout. So whenever I was getting ready to go to the gym, I didn't feel like it. I just snorted some of that. I'm kidding. I don't snort it, but so
pumped for the gym.
I do pop some of that to kind of get me going and get me there. So said first week down. I'm in my second week, feeling pretty good. I got them knee problems, man. Them human knee problems suck. So anyway, that's it really.
I could say I understand, but I didn't have a knee problem. I had a different problem. So,
well, I've had my knee repaired twice, so there's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. Yeah.
This shirt, dude, just stay open. It's not like I'm trying to flash people. I just don't want them like folding into my neck. All right.
Trying to get that 80s like, frat boy vibe.
You know what? I'm turning it inside.
Yeah.
That looks real dumb for the video. Whatever. It's staying like that. All right. Anyway, what's up with you, man?
Well, I guess I'll get to my story real quick and just cut to the chase. It was a pretty good week, other than Wednesday. Well, a good thing and a bad thing happened on Wednesday. Good thing I'll be getting into in the rundown, which was kind of ruined last week, so I'm gonna say it anyways. I went to go see Oppenheimer, so I'll be talking about that then. But I got scammed for the first time ever. And usually, I'm really good at catching these things, but after repeating the story back to Mike, I really felt really stupid after that because I was like,
To be fair,
man,
Mike
there
didn't
was so
make
many.
him feel stupid. I just pointed out that there were
I
quite
no,
a few points the way maybe you should have
well,
like sat back and thought about it.
but it was more the fact that like, I really so okay. Basically, what happened? I'm gonna really get this real quick here, guys. Basically, I was selling something on Facebook Marketplace. A person messaged me. It looked like it was an older gentleman. He said that his cousin really wanted the item that I was selling, which was an Xbox One X. And so basically, he said, "Hey, I am out of town. Can my cousin come pick it up?" And I'm like, "Sure. Can we do tomorrow?" I sent him a location of like a McDonald's I'm nearby, because I don't want people to know where I live. So I sent like a McDonald's nearby. And so everything was good. And he said, "Okay, can since they don't have a bank account, which again I should have also." But whatever, some people don't have bank accounts. I don't know.
First
This
flag.
person was old. This person was old. Okay, maybe they're like a Great Depression baby or whatever, and they don't like having banks or something like that. There are people out there like that. So okay, whatever. But basically, yeah, that was the first red flag. But they said, "Hey, do you have like a Venmo or that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have a Venmo." I give them my Venmo
Okay,
information.
hold on.
They
Let's stop and break this down. All right. They're on
yes,
Facebook Marketplace. They
yeah.
ask for your Venmo, but they don't have a bank account.
No, 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 no. The person that's paying for it has a bank account. The cousin that is going to pick it up does not.
So who's paying for it?
The person that I was talking to.
So what's it matter if they have a bank account?
Well, they're saying. I guess they're saying because I guess they're trying to say that they were paying for it and
I'm
not the
just
cousin.
I'm being a dick. I'm sorry.
Okay, but okay, so again, at that point, like usually, like even if they are a scam, then like nothing's gonna happen. But this is where they got me. So they sent the money. They said they sent the money, but then basically what happened was immediately it said payment failed, and they sent me a screenshot of literally it looked exactly like Venmo, and had like a thing, and it said that it failed, and I'm like, okay. They're like, oh, I need your email, and I get I assume because Venmo has a very weird thing sometimes where you have to like have authorization, you have to all this. So I'm like, okay, maybe yeah, they need my email. This is what another red flag that popped up. And it's the fact that I sent an email and they said, "No, I need your email." And I'm like, "That is literally my email. Like, the fuck are you talking about?" Um so they do it again and then they sent this email or they said that um check your email, Venmo sent you something. That was the third red flag. That was the thing that was like, okay, wait a minute. It's kind of weird that Venmo would just send me an email after the fact I gave you an email. Like if you were sending it to my account, Venmo would have emailed me immediately already. That is, for some reason, I was blindsided by the fact that this person was going to give me money, so I didn't really think about it. And this is where I got scammed. Basically, they said in the email, it said they had to send me an additional $100 in order to get a business account because for some reason the transaction that they're trying to send me is too much. It has to be a business account. So basically, he sent like it was like $320 or whatever because that was a way for me to get a business account. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I had to refund him $100, and I still thought it was kind of weird because I went into Venmo and I still didn't see any of this money. I was looking at my actual Venmo. I'm like, where the fuck is any of these things? I'm not getting any notifications from them. I'm like, whatever. Maybe again, this is just how Venmo works. Maybe they're weird with that. It wasn't until after I already sent the $100 that this is where I really did finally acknowledge that this was a scam. Was when I checked my email and it said I have to pay a business fee when literally the previous email said I was just getting a free temporary business thing in order to get this transaction. So the dude's like, "Oh, you just need to pay the $300. It's gonna go into insurance and everything." I'm like, "Dude, I don't have $300. I'm not gonna give you fucking. I'm not gonna send $300. That's stupid." I said, "Well, just cancel this. You give me my $100 back, and you cancel and get your money back." And the dude was very insistent on it, and I'm like, that's when I started to get really fucking annoyed, and I'm like, okay, why the hell is this person being so insistent? And that's when I finally was like, okay, this is a scam. And then this person tried to throw like Bible verses at me, and I'm like, the fuck are you doing? Like, you're trying so hard, and well, he got me because he got $100 from me, and I'm still pissed about it because I should have known. I should have known, and I definitely now from now on will never forget this ever again. And I also know if I'm selling anything to anybody in a local area, fuck Venmo, fuck Zelle. I'm not doing any of that shit. You're giving me cash or check. That's the only two payments I accept. I will not do anything else after that. That frustrated me to the point where I don't. And that's someone had the audacity.
The
After literally
audacity.
just the audacity after that just finished to do the exact same thing to me again. They tried to do the same thing again, but with a different story. And I'm like, all right. I even straight up caught them on their lie immediately. I said, they're like, oh, can I get your phone number? I'm like, no, you have me on Messenger. And then they're like, okay, well, do you have Zelle? And I'm like, no, I only accept cash or check. They just left me on red. They didn't say anything after that. Yeah, what a surprise.
Also,
So,
I'd be careful with check because checks can bounce.
well, that's another thing I'm kind of worried about. Like,
Cash can't
if
bounce.
I am going to get check, I want to be able to put it in, or that if they don't want to do that, then they can just give me cash. Because yeah, I don't trust checks either. Yeah, I agree with that.
Logan, let me tell you something, man. You're a great friend of mine. I'm not gonna say best friend because I don't like labels, but you're probably my number one
Yeah.
friend right now.
Well, that's good.
That entire thing was a red flag, brother.
Okay, well,
I understand.
again, I was
I get
blindsided
it.
by money, and
You
it
want
got
it.
me.
You wanted the easy cash. You wanted to sell your thing. You wanted to get rid of it. Believe me, I completely understand. But that entire thing was a red flag. Oh, hey, it happens to all of us. I told you, I almost probably would have got scammed if it wasn't for Peyton, because I was trying to save some money on Spectrum, and there was this email. They're like, "Oh, you can get 50% off," and we were going through this thing, and then he asked if I have a Target card, and I was like, "That seems odd." So I asked, "Why do I need a Target card?" He's like, "Oh, because we're doing this through a partnership with Target," and I was like, "Okay." That's sometimes weird stuff like that happens, like with the Sprint stuff and all that. So I was like, okay. I was like, I don't have a Target credit card, but I do have like a Target bank card, all these other things. And he was like, oh, that'll work fine. Send me all the numbers and everything. And in my head, I was like, this fucking feels so weird, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then, but I was like, but I guess it kind of checks out a little bit. And then, like, I forgot what exactly he said, but there was something that was said on the phone where Peyton was like, nope, cut it down. And then I was like, the light bulb went off. And I was like, yeah, this entire thing is F. So I may have got busted if it wasn't for someone looking out for me. But
Yeah.
that was the only time I've ever really gone down the path of getting scammed or anything like that. Peyton got scammed on Venmo too, which is why we don't use Venmo anymore.
Yeah.
But hers was legit.
And I'll tell you this right now, people, Venmo, they don't fucking care.
No,
Yeah,
they don't.
you get scammed, you get scammed. They do not literally give a shit. And I just wanted people to know this too, because Mike didn't know this the other day. PayPal does also own Venmo, so they're pretty much the same company. So, but yeah, just don't just that's a little thing for people to know out there. Usually, again, I'm very good with this like figuring out scam things. Every time I've almost been scammed, I've usually figured out immediately, and also usually I do a lot of fact checking. But for some reason, this time I fucking didn't look at the profile, which was the first thing you should do. Just let me tell you that as a little tip. First thing you do when you see a seller, check out their profile because clearly this profile was 110% fake. They had 6 different profile pictures and they were not even of the same people. So yeah, I was like, I should have known. I should have known.
Just
And
sell it
I'm
on eBay,
disappointed
man.
with
It's so much
I know.
easier.
I am. I actually don't want to do anything with Facebook Marketplace, especially after literally getting the exact same story
Yeah.
yet again right after that. And I'm like, all right, Facebook is doing nothing right now to stop these scams. I'm like, I'm done. I think I'm gonna actually. I still need to take it off, but I'm gonna take it off Facebook because I don't want to do it anymore on them. And I also don't want to do anything through Venmo ever again when it comes to sales like that because I don't trust it. Because this person was really good. These emails looked legit. Usually I'm good at seeing emails and be like, okay, this is fake. But even the business one they sent me looked like an exact thing that Venmo would send you. Like, and usually I'm really good at spotting fake emails because like when I went to SEMO, I guess I just doxed myself on that, but whatever. I went to SEMO, Southeast Missouri State University, and
If you already doxed yourself, why'd you continue the
fuck
description?
it, I don't give a shit. What are they gonna do to me? And
Steal your Xbox One
you
X.
used to what?
Steal your Xbox One X.
Steal it? What do you mean?
I was just making a comment because that's what you said.
Oh,
Oh my god. You're so
oh yeah,
slow.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, basically, we used to get like a ton of scam emails on our student emails all the time. I don't know if you remember that, but like I basically got like 6 scam emails like a week
Oh yeah,
at
all the time,
SEMO.
man. All the time.
All the freaking time, dude. So yeah, it's. I usually am really good at this stuff. Even when Amy almost got herself scammed. Luckily, she forgot her password for Instagram because she almost scammed that too. She literally she messed up her password, and that's the only reason she didn't get scammed. So yeah, I just yeah. I'm disappointed in myself
It
because I
happens to all
also
of us, man.
I even watched this YouTuber. His whole thing is about scamming scammers, and literally the story that this person did to me was like one of them that he's done before, but for some reason I'm just frustrated myself. But
That's
other than
fine.
that, it is what it is. I could have lost a lot more money, but I was at least smart enough to figure out by the time they were saying $300, I'm like, this is messed up, something is not right here. So yeah.
Well, like I said, it happens to all of us, man. You only need that one to never have it happen again. Luckily, you said
Yes.
it's only $100. So I've seen people get scammed for like upwards of like thousands of dollars before they realize it. So at
The
least it
only
stopped at 100.
other There is another scam I ran into, and it wasn't really much of a scam, as in more that I guess it was kind of a scam. You remember like back in the day, they had all these weird services popping up for like you basically pay a membership fee and you can go watch as many movies as you want within a week. Like for some reason, there was this weird surge of like these
Yeah.
membership things you could pay for. Yeah, and there was this one that I found that was like, oh, I was like, I tried to sign up for it, but for some reason when I went to go hit pay, it jumped me to the yearly payment. And after that happened, it charged me $300, which by the way, I was poor as shit at that time. I was a college student. So I spent $300 on this membership thing just to be screwed over because I had no idea that I was paying a year. And not only that, their emails didn't work. Wow, what a surprise. I couldn't cancel it. So yeah, they literally just took $300 from me and it didn't work. And I'm like, "Oh, that's great. That's cool." So I guess that's the second time
I
I've
was
been
saying, so
scammed.
maybe it
But
happens twice, but
yeah, that one was more, but that one was like I'm pretty sure someone recommended me that or something like that. But I think at that time too, a lot of those services start to go down because they started to lie or they started to make the way to get tickets very convoluted. Like I did actually get to go, so technically it wasn't a full scam because I was able to at least see 2 movies with that. It was a scam in the fact, but it was very convoluted to get tickets with it. That was its problem, and I was like, this is fucking dumb. So yeah, just 2 things to learn. I mean, at least we don't have to do. I don't usually. I've learned from both of those not to
that's
join
good.
any weird programs of that. So
Honestly, just protect your people out. Sorry. Honestly, people, just protect yourself out there. If something seems weird and you got to give credit card numbers over the phone and you got to email people back and forth, it's just shut it down, man. There's better ways to go about doing it out there. So just protect yourself out there. But all right, as we always do, let's get in officially to the episode. We start the week like we do all week with question of the week, and this time we finally got some recommendations from our audience out there. So I want to give a shout out to the one and only Nova 3877 for your question. We appreciate you out there, guys. If you're listening to us and you have questions that you want us to answer, if you have a good idea, if you have a good topic of discussion, comment down below on our YouTube or go over to our Patreon. Send us a message over there. We will organize them and get to them as many as we can each and every episode. But this one comes from you, sir, the one and only Nova. He wants to know, What is one game that we wish we never knew existed? And what is one game that we wish we could erase from our memories and relive playing through it again? So I guess he sent us two questions, but my first answer is easy. Avengers. Because I sunk
Yeah.
300 freaking hours in that stupid game. Granted, I did enjoy myself, but I would have.
That's what I mean. Like, I think you enjoyed yourself. I don't know if that would be a game you'd want to erase.
You know
Never
how
know.
you know how many other games I could have played with those 300 hours?
Yeah,
A lot.
but clearly you enjoyed it.
Yeah, but still.
It doesn't mean that like you don't have to like. I mean, you admit it. You like it, so like, there's no problem with that. I mean, at least you also admit it wasn't a great game,
But
but
I'm
you
saying
liked it.
the
So.
question is one that we wish we never knew existed. And there's a part
Oh,
of me that
okay.
regardless of how much I enjoyed it, I kind of look back on it like I wish I never knew about that game so I could have used that time to play other things. Because there was a
Yeah.
time where I was just playing Avengers and I was like leaving other games, sending other games out the pasture, I guess,
Hmm.
and just not playing them. And I could have played a lot more games with that 300 hours. I mean, dude, 300 hours. We're talking about 5 God of War playthroughs. Like,
Yeah.
that's not an insignificant amount of time. I could have played so many good games. I could have beaten Persona 5 easily. I could have beaten Persona 5 3 times with that amount. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, man, I could have used my time so much more. And that's something that I always try to do. And I know it annoys, my significant other and some other things. It's like, am I using my time to the best of my abilities? Especially with gaming, like, am I maximizing what I can and can't play throughout the year? Which I guess sounds kind of weird to kind of think of a hobby like that, but I love this so much and I want to play so much that I do kind of like have to organize my time and like decide like, am I spending too much time on a game regardless of whether I enjoy it or not, and would it benefit me to move on to something else, one for the show and then two just for my own like breadth of industry knowledge. So that's something I always think about. Again, it's probably a weird thing to think about, but I'm a weird guy, so
No, I mean that's fair. You try to not waste your time, basically. So I understand. I don't really know many games. I'm like, man, I really wish I didn't know they existed.
oh, and also I I wish I never knew they existed for the 300 hours because we never got an end. They never
What was it?
they never came out with any more story DLC, so the story just doesn't end. It just
Wait, which
massive.
one was it?
The Avengers, what I'm talking about. Another
Oh,
thing that
yes,
like,
yeah.
yeah, they came out with 3 pieces of story DLC, which have quality in them, but they were setting
Hmm.
up like this whole interconnected story that they were going to tell through the She-Hulk DLC and all these other things, and there was supposed to be a Captain Marvel DLC a chapter, and there's none of that came. So it ended up being a complete waste of 300 hours, regardless of whether I enjoyed it, and I guess I got a platinum out of it, but it was a grindy ass
Fair.
platinum. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It just popped in my head.
No, you're good. What is a game that I just wish? Well, do you have your other answer? Because let me think on this real quick. If you
Well,
have your other
the only
second.
other way I approach that first question in my mind's eye is like a game series that I once loved. I was kind of thinking like Assassin's Creed because like it's gotten so terrible, but then I kind of like felt that was disingenuous because I love so many of those ones. So I was kind of trying to approach it from that way as well. Like maybe what's a game that started a franchise that I love that has gone completely down into trash that I just kind of wish I hadn't got invested as much. And I couldn't really find an answer because regardless of how many franchises I do like slash love and I don't play anymore, I still enjoyed them when I did it. So and like I still think it would be less. Like I would hate if Assassin's Creed 2 didn't ever exist, and especially if Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed Revelation. So I thought that was a little bit disingenuous answer, but that's the other way I kind of approached it, trying to think about it. But I do have an answer to the second one. It's very easy.
Well, actually, I know my answer.
I'll go right
So
ahead then.
okay.
See, I helped.
So I'm not gonna do like a. Hopefully, we're not doing it off of series because I'm not doing it off of a series. I'm doing a specific game of a series, and that happens to be Halo 5 for me. That is one game I really wish never existed ever. Because even 343 wish it never existed. Clearly, if you play Halo Infinite, it's almost like they shoved it under the rug. What happened? And Halo 5 is probably one of the biggest disappointments for me in probably gaming history. Probably for me. Because it's from one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time. I really still enjoyed Halo 4 for what it was. I wasn't it didn't do hit as hard as Halo 3 did for me or even Halo Reach. But I still enjoyed Halo 4 and I still felt like they were continuing the story in a meaningful way. Whereas Halo 5, on the other hand, they just lied. And it was the marketing was god awful. They lied about what was going to happen in the game. They lied about a lot of things. You didn't even get to play as Master Chief for most of the game, which ruins the whole fucking point of the game. It's called Halo, the main franchise. Like, if it's a Halo number title, I want to play as Master Chief. I don't want to play as this stupid dude that I don't care about named. I already forgot it. What is his name? Griffin? I don't know. Something like that. I already don't care.
Isn't it
That's how much
Locke?
I don't care. Locke, Agent Locke.
How the fuck did
Yeah.
I know that?
I don't know how you remember that. I mean, the people that was with him, really cool. I mean, they had Bucky from ODST as one of
Oh,
his
from Captain
squad
America.
mates.
Yeah,
Oh my god. But
yeah,
it just
yeah.
sucked. It was really bad. It's actually the only Halo, well, other than Halo Infinite now, the only Halo I have not played through multiple times because it's bad. It's awful. It's also criminally short compared to the rest of the Halo series.
It isn't like five
Uh,
hours.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very fucking short, which is even more really sad to say because, like, again, I didn't beat it twice. I tried to beat it twice and I got bored halfway through.
Well, there's a
In a
reason it's
5 hour
so
game.
short. There's a reason it's so short. It's because they expect you to read 4 novels to understand
I
the
know.
story and
Well, yeah,
three comics.
you have to play Halo 4, and then you have to play Halo 4 Sparnops, and then yeah, you got to read a bunch of novels, watch this movie, and then yeah, finally you'll understand everything that's happening. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's so dumb. No Halo has ever been like that. Even Halo 4, even though it was a little confusing at the beginning, you could still figure everything out throughout the game. Halo 5, no, you wouldn't. I still don't even know what was happening there. So yeah, that is for sure my game that I wish never existed. And even again, as I said, 343 almost wishes it never existed.
Damn.
So
Damn.
yeah,
The entire
yeah,
studio. That's one
yeah.
thing I will give PlayStation credit for in their history over Xbox. And this I do have this creeping feeling that this praise I'm about to give is kind of going out the window. But PlayStation's always done a good job of just leaving their franchises and moving on to something else. You know, they make their trilogies, they make their games, and they just go make other stuff. They move on. I mean, we haven't gotten an Uncharted game in almost a decade. You know, Ratchet and Clank
Has it
still
been a decade for Uncharted?
almost. It's almost
It's 20.
2024. 20,
Wasn't it like
20 well 2015 was 4. The spin-off was 2016. So, I mean, by the time the new one comes out, it'll probably be a decade.
yeah,
But like,
yeah.
they've done a decent job. They leave things alone and maybe they come back to them, maybe they don't. I wish they would go back to like,
Well, it seems like they more just reboot things. They leave them, but they just reboot them in some way.
I
Like other
mean,
than God of War, where God of War is a continuation, but it's still it's kind of a reboot because it's completely different, like the way the gameplay is and everything. But like Ratchet and Clank is straight up just a reboot. Like that is just like they wiped all of what Ratchet and Clank was and they just rebooted the franchise, which is fine. I'm not mad about it.
yeah, I mean, outside of God of War and Ratchet and Clank, there's not too many long-running PlayStation franchise. I mean, you think of some of the best, Sly, Jack, even Uncharted at this point, like all those have kind of been left in the wayside, and now we have Ghost and Horizon. So that's what I'm saying. Like they do a decent job of making new stuff over and over again. That's something that Xbox hasn't really captured yet. They're still making Halo, they're still making Gears, and it's like these same things we've had for going on almost 20 years now. And it's like I
Mhm.
wish they would make some new stuff. Like even the new Perfect Dark game that I'm excited about. Granted, that's been a long time, so that's a little bit more justified. But like I want a new IP. I want something different. And we just don't seem to get that a whole lot from Xbox. At least not on the same, level that we do like PlayStation or something, who is willing to take the
Which I
Killzone
do think
team. and
I
make
do think they
Horizon.
are. I think after the last showcase, I do think Xbox is starting to
Yeah.
finally do
So
it. And also with them doing all the negative things that people were saying originally, which by the way, I don't think we put this as a story, but 343 actually is rehiring. So everyone made this whole negative thing that Microsoft fired a bunch of people. That's because thought they were going to go into a recession, and now it seems like they're not, and they actually are hiring a bunch of people back now. So that's cool, and that's good news, by the way. But I do think Xbox actually is going to put Halo in the background, and I don't think we're going to get a Halo for a while. Which for me,
good.
that's fine. That is
Yeah.
so unbelievably fine with me. I don't think it needs to be rushed out anymore. I think they could just wait. And whenever it's done, or whatever the next Halo is going to be, just come out whenever you want. Doesn't need to be rushed out. It doesn't need to be the killer app for Xbox anymore. Halo can just be that game that comes out. I mean, God of War was a big killer app for like PlayStation for a while there, and it now isn't the killer app. I mean, that's when Last of Us came in, and that was the killer app. And now we have Spider-Man. Now Spider-Man's the killer app. And so they don't kill those franchises. They still exist, but they give them more time, and I'm fine with that. And I want Halo to take its time. I don't want Halo 5 or Halo Infinite. If 343 is going to come back, I want them to come back strong. And I'm happy that they're, instead of just like focusing on dropping their Halo Infinite piece of crap, they are actually working on it. They're adding a ton of multiplayer stuff. They're doing a lot to bring back Halo fans. And that makes me happy because they're trying to win back the community, which is good. That's the first thing you should be trying to do right now because you kind of killed your community with Halo Infinite and Halo 5. So
Yeah, like
that's cool.
sometimes you just gotta let things breathe. You just gotta let things be, and it doesn't have to be sagas and trilogies and all that. Sometimes you can just make a game or two, and just let those two games exist. You know,
Hmm.
can you imagine the absolute hype? Let's say in 2025, if on the PlayStation Showcase, if boom, the next Uncharted, starring spoilers for Uncharted 4, starring Cassie, Nathan Drake's daughter, and all that. Can you imagine the hype of that's gonna have behind it, dude? Like coming back after 10 plus years of being gone, like that's gonna be so freaking exciting. And I don't know, like I bet it's going to be at least another 4 years before we get the next God of War. Like it's coming,
Oh yeah,
but it's
no,
gonna be a
I don't want
while.
it to come
So
out anytime soon. They
yeah,
need to just let it breathe.
because
Let
we're kind
let
of
them do something
restarting
else.
again, like
Hmm.
that saga's done. Let's restart again. But anyway,
I mean, yeah.
let's go on to the second part of the question. What's one game I wish I could erase from my memory and replay and relive all over again? It's the first God of War 2018. I realized I fucked it up. Not the first God of War 2018. It's my favorite game of all time. It's my most memorable game of all time. And it's something that I just wish I could experience those 25, 30 hours without any sort of knowledge or anything again. Spoiler alert for God of War 2018. Retrieving the blades is one of my most favorite, if not my favorite moment in all of modern video games. I think it was executed perfectly. It still sits in my mind. The lines that were said, the shots that were used, the emotion and the drama behind the character development. It was like essentially just like this realization of, at that point, 13 years of character development to bring Kratos to this moment where he's like, no, I know who I am. I'm done with your shit. I am who I
Hmm.
am, and I'm embracing it. And it was just one of the moments that will never leave my mind. And I wish I could experience that all again without any knowledge or anything like that, to just feel that absolute just F yeah again, because it was so cool. And again, it's my favorite game of all time, so I would love to play it with fresh eyes and not know anything about it. So
Well, mine's gonna be kind of a repeat here, but for me, it's Halo 3. If
I
I
was gonna say Halo
could,
5. I was like, damn.
yeah, no, not Halo 5. Oh God, no, please. But Halo 3 means a lot to me. I was gonna say Elden Ring, but I think I have a lot more fond memories with Halo because not only was the campaign great, and I remember hanging out with all my friends, sitting on the couch, playing through the Halo 3 campaign, then looking up all these guides to get all the skulls so we can unlock the Hayabusa armor. Me and my brother grinding out through Halo 3 campaign on Legendary so we can get the EOD armor, which looks like, by the way, Helghast from Killzone. I absolutely loved it for that reason. I wanted that armor set like so bad, but you had to beat Halo 3 on Legendary, and that's fucking hard. Um, Also, like, me and a bunch of my friends would come over, and I had Xbox Live for the first time, and we were playing through like a bunch of matches and stuff. And for like years of the 360 thing, like almost all the way to the end of the 360, me and my friends would get on all the time back in like high school, and we would play Forge. We would create maps and everything. We'd fuck around and do stuff. There was a bunch of awesome modes that people made, like Garbage Man, Trash Compactor. We had a bunch of infection-based matches. There's like prisoner, cops and robbers or whatever. There's so many fun things, and it was just so good, that game. Like, everything about it was just fantastic. The community was great. Every time you played with people, everybody was just excited. They're having a good time. It was just a good game. And it's cool to see that's kind of coming back right now, since there's a lot of Halo stuff coming out. And I don't know. I guess I could relive it right now, but I do think it's never going to be the same as back when the 360 came out and just being blown away by that game. And then just all the great memories I have from it, I would love to relive them all. I just thought they were great.
All right, I thought you were gonna go with Red Dead Redemption, and then Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously.
No, damn, that's a good one. That's true.
Dude, 2018, man.
2018 was a crazy year.
It really wasn't when you look back at it. It really was just carried by Red Dead, God of War, and Spider-Man. Like those two games came out. Well, I guess God of War came out early in the year, but that's a bad example. But it still blows my mind that Red Dead and Spider-Man came out like 3 weeks apart from each other. Like, that's wild. Well, all right. Pretty much some of our favorite games of all time. Movie-wise, I wish I could watch Infinity War and Endgame again without having any
Oh my
doubts.
god, dude, to relive that moment. Oh, I was so hype.
Both of
I
those
just remember
movies.
everyone was talking about it, and it was so good. It was so exciting. I loved it.
Yeah. What a great moment in history for us. Followed quickly by the worst moment of the worst couple years of our lives. So, followed very quickly by the worst couple years of our life. So, all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is in fact the XP Podcast, a weekly video game and pop culture news podcast where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every Monday at 8 a.m. so you can listen to it throughout the week or whenever you desire. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please go over to our Patreon where you get to be a part of our weekly discussion and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You also be able to find all of our uploads there along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital P, ERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in video format if you care to look at our big, beautiful, smiling faces. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. Previously on the XP Podcast, episode 60, we talked about Ubisoft canceling the Immortal sequels, Tencent buying Techland, Final Fantasy finally coming to Xbox, and so much more. So go check that out if you haven't got a chance, then come on back to see what is new this week. With all that out of the way, though, let's get into this week's show. In Around the Point, the Switch 2 is reportedly coming towards the end of next year. Elder Scrolls 4 is getting the remake treatment, and if rumors are to be believed, we could be getting Helldivers the same month as Spider-Man on PS5. Then in LTR, we dive into the reviews for this week's games, but before we get to all that, it's time for what is and forever will be the rundown, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing, whether it be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, comics. Doesn't matter to us, because we like it all and love to talk about it. So, Mr. Birdman, start us off with the BG3, the Bear Sex. How's it been?
Well, I guess it's kind of a both of us thing. It's fantastic. I really, really, really enjoyed this, like, quite a bit. It kind of surprised me a little bit. Well, not really. Like, I've been keeping up with this game for a while. for like over a year. It's been in beta for 2 years or whatever. And I've been keeping up with it a little bit. I watched a few people play it, and I'm like, this looks really, really fun. It's usually not my type of game, but it's really, again, it's been catching my eye. And I've been checking out other games made by Larian, and Studios, which made, by the way, Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. I played a little bit of 1. I couldn't really get into it, but I played 2, and I did enjoy it more. But I will say, from playing Baldur's Gate 3, I think I enjoy this even more. Like, I really think each game, it seems like they've really just like slowly refined and just kept building and building up more and more. Because actually, Larian has a really cool story behind them where literally they actually came to, um, I forgot the name of the people that made D&D, but they came to the people that made that do D&D, our own D&D, and they asked them if they can make a new Baldur's Gate game or a new D&D based game, and at that time they said no. So what did they do? They're like, all right, well, we got to prove it to them. So that's what they did. They literally went out and they made both Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2, which both are, I mean, even though I didn't enjoy them, I know that they're fantastic games. Well, Divinity Original Sin 2, I did enjoy more. But I do think those games are phenomenal and they've proved themselves. And so D&D actually came back to them and actually asked them if they'd be willing to make a Baldur's Gate game. And they said, hell yeah. So they did. And I can tell you from the first 2 hours of both me and Mike playing this game, phenomenal. Or sorry, 3 hours. Okay, yeah, we played for 3. Damn, dude, it didn't feel like that, but it was such a good time. I'm really enjoying it. I think the combat is so much better now. I especially like because it's actually D&D rules and it uses a lot of dice roll mechanics. There's a lot more of like choice making already from what I could tell. There's also a lot of ways to creatively get into fights and do things, like the fact that you can literally shove people, or the fact that you can literally like grab fucking small enemies' bodies and just use them as weapons, or like or I can like grab a book out of my inventory and throw it at Mike because he's taking too long to do something. Like it's fantastic. Like it is so much. Like if you ever wanted to get into a game and you've never played D&D itself, play Baldur's Gate, because I really think you're gonna like this. Another thing you need to know, Baldur's Gate 3 has nothing to do with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Yes, it is in the same lore, but you do not need to play 1 and 2 to understand this game. It's its own standalone game. It's kind of like Final Fantasy in a sense. Like I guess it's a little different, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to play there to understand what's happening in this game. And again, I've been having a good time. I don't know about Mike, but I had a really good time playing it. And if he stops playing it, I don't fucking care. I'm going to keep playing it myself because it is great so far. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to get farther in the game and to actually get to Baldur's Gate itself. Because from what I heard, that city is gigantic. It has a ton of people and so much content in this game. And yeah, just good. So, other than me rambling on, Mike, what do you think?
Well, coming from a guy that liked Divinity's Original Sin, and I very much enjoyed Divinity Original Sin 2, from the sounds of it, quite a bit more than Logan did.
No, I
Um,
did. It's more that Amy didn't like our Divinity Original Sin 2. So that's why we didn't really play that much. But I was really enjoying it.
okay.
So,
And someone who likes CRPGs, I'm not a huge CRPG fan, but I do like CRPGs. Um, I agree with everything that Logan has to say. But on that note, we come to a moment that I have been regretting all day thinking about this. And I have enjoyed very little of my experience so far with Baldur's Gate 3. And it has nothing to do with the game itself. I think this is one of the most disjointed and unappealing co-op experiences I've ever had in a video game. And that has no reflection on you, Logan. I want to make that straight up. It has no reflection
yeah.
on you. Here's the way I look at this game. And I've been thinking about this. Literally, I didn't do anything at work today because I was literally just thinking about how I wanted to phrase this. Like I said, I agree with everything Logan has to say. I think the combat, awesome so far. The world, awesome. It's clearly the Larian Studios has increase their production value tenfold over Divinity Original Sin 2 just in conversations alone. But maybe this is due to we haven't figured out exactly how to play this game in co-op yet and how to get the best out of it in co-op game. But I think this is one of the worst experiences I've had in co-op with the person that I love playing games with, because this is a narrative-driven, story-driven, conversational, decision-based RPG. I love those.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels so disjointed and so unconnected when playing when playing together at co-op. There's been multiple times where,
But I think the reason why, let me cut in real quick, is because we keep splitting up from each other. That's why it's so disjointed.
but even in that,
I mean, it's trying to be realistic because it's trying to be like, hey, you can have a conversation with someone and you don't have to have the other person with you. It's just trying to give you freedom.
yes,
So, I mean, if
get
you
that,
want to,
but
I could stick right next to you. I don't care.
no,
I even told you that. Like, we could also communicate with each other what we heard, you know? Like, you really didn't miss much from what I did. I mean, all I did
I
was
think I
pull
missed
a
quite a
wizard
bit,
out of a
actually.
portal. I
Like,
pulled a wizard out of a portal.
I missed the wizard out of the portal. I
You didn't
missed.
miss much there.
It's still, to me, man. It's still like, these type of games. Each and every decision, each and every conversation you have is important from a lore perspective and a character building perspective. And you know me, I love character writing and narrative. That's what I play games for. I don't play games exactly for the gameplay and all that. It helps, but I've played games that suck at gameplay on a good stories, and I've enjoyed them. So it's like there's so many moments that we had that I can think of in the head. The wizard pulling out of the portal, your entire companion thing that I have no interaction with, and I don't see a way to have an interaction with. I can't talk to him. I can't get to know him from my character's perspective. That moment where we ran into the two people around the dead guy. You had this whole conversation with them after we got done fighting him, and like you had this conversation with him as a ghost and everything, and it was done.
Oh, he wasn't a ghost. It was just a
He was
mind
dying,
flayer thing.
yeah. But
Yeah.
like when it was done, I went back over there and I can't experience that content. It's over with. It's done. And there's no way for me
But
to
the
go
thing
back.
about this game is we can always replay it. The
I
thing is, like, it
understand that,
changes.
but I still don't feel like it just feels such a like a disjointed game, and the simple act of playing co-op feels like I'm missing chunks of content over and over again. Same for you. You can't even talk to my companion.
Yeah, which I'm looking that up right now because I'm curious about that.
I think there might have been. I think there might be a solution to that. Is because I haven't talked to that Valerian guy in the actual world yet. Because you were talking to him, so I walked by. And then on my side, Shadowheart, you did save in the ship, and I did. But I don't even know if you had the opportunity to save her because I was doing it. So that's what I'm saying. It may just be that we don't understand how to play this game in co-op yet and how to get the most out of it. To me, it just feels like the only thing I've gotten from co-op is I'm just missing content. I'm missing conversations. I'm missing decisions. And I don't like the experience so far. And again, I'm going to keep playing it, obviously. I'm going to keep playing with you and play through this whole thing. And honestly, I'll probably have a second character that I'm playing through it on my own. So I can get all that
I probably
content.
would do the same.
Because I really, like you said, I do enjoy what the game is. Like, I do enjoy the combat. And I think it'd be really cool. Because, like, if you're playing by yourself, you can have up to 3 companions with you. So you have that whole team and you're controlling everything. And I think that'll be really awesome, but I just don't really get what they went for with this co-op game. To me, it's like Mass Effect was co-op. And you join my lobby, right? And I start a conversation with a companion and you're just watching it, having no interaction with your own character. You just watch my interactions with it. And whatever I decide is what I decide. And then you're just shit out of luck. The content's gone. You can't play it again. And that's what it feels like to me so far. And again, it may just be we just don't understand how to get the most of it yet. Like that whole dream sequence when we went to bed. You started talking to somebody and I was just laying there and I didn't know what the hell was happening.
Well, it's because I had private. All I have to do is unprivate it and you can listen. But I do agree. I think the one thing that they could update in this game, and it would be the perfect fix, in my opinion, instead of having to redesign literally everything, is have a baton pass feature where you're in mid conversation, your friend could be right next to you, clearly they have a better than you do. I think it'd be cool if you could baton pass the conversation to them and then they continue the conversation. And maybe you want to do that back and forth. So then that way both people can communicate in this scene. I think that is actually the perfect way to fix this. Instead of having to redesign everything, which they clearly couldn't, that would take forever. The best way they could probably do it is do like a baton pass feature where it would be like you're in the same section of the conversation, but it has a little side button that you can click and it baton pass and it gives you to your friend. They could do it. I think that would be the best way to fix this because yeah, it does kind of suck that like I could be there with you at the conversation, but I can't jump in. Or it'd be really cool if your friend could jump in the conversation, maybe. Kind of like how your NPC followers that you get will jump in occasionally. I think that'd be nice if there was a feature where it's called jump in and you could jump in to the conversation and maybe say your own piece.
Well,
That would be a good idea too.
I also read that, your persuasion abilities and all your, like, all the different things that you can do are supposed to be all linked together. So whoever's in your party, regardless of what they are, you have that option to do that. But it didn't seem that way. You couldn't do the persuading that I could because my persuasion is super high, being the character that I am. And, like, I don't know, man, it just feels like this was designed to be a single player game that you happen to be able to play co-op. But like I said, the only thing I've gotten so far from the co-op, other than just simply having a good time with you playing games, is just missing content left and right. And it's like, is this the way it's supposed to be played? Again, I don't think we're playing it right. And
I think also we just keep. I would gladly stick more close to you and actually continue because I was more just you say I don't like to explore, but I do like to explore. I like to go off in the random directions. I don't like to go to the right direction. I want to go to a different direction. Like when we went into the cave and almost got killed by a level 65 creature that almost demolished you. So I'm happy we didn't go in there. But
I don't
yeah,
know, man.
I mean, I think if we stuck by each other more, it'd be fine. And then maybe if like we can maybe just like jump back and forth or figure out who has more charisma, which maybe you may have more charisma than me, so maybe I will have you do the conversations and I will just be there delegating, because at least like that they add a voting system. At least like I can give you an idea of what I want,
Yeah,
but then you can still choose.
Even in that, this is your character you're playing and you're not in charge of the conversation, and I think that in itself, to me, is
But
a
you
negative.
are still. But you still are, because you don't have to choose what I choose.
No, you're not in control.
Yeah,
you're not,
yeah.
I'm saying. And
your character, but that's your character talking, so it's fine.
But like I said, I
get that.
It feels like it was designed to be a single player game where you have up to 4 party members that you can assign freely. And
yeah,
it just feels like it would be a better experience outside of just having fun playing games with people if it was just like, you're just playing an RPG. You're just playing an RPG by yourself. And dude, I was thinking about this all day, and I'm like, I can't get over this feeling that I'm having with this game, and it just feels. The only thing I remembered was the stuff that I didn't get to see last night. And I'm like, damn, man, like I would have loved to have that interaction. And I know there's that little bubble that if one of your other party members joins, you can jump into the conversation, but that's so fucking small, it doesn't show up. I'm not looking at the health of my characters on the left side of my screen when I'm playing the game. I'm looking at the map.
Yeah, I do wish it was bigger in a sense, or maybe it like popped up in a more noticeable section. Because I didn't notice that either till like a while in, and then I noticed that you said you were talking to someone, so you go to like the top right, which by the way, very small, and you can click on it and then it jumps you to their conversation, which I wish they would make that a little bit bigger or a little bit more noticeable, because I didn't know that. And there was no tutorial that said, hey, if your friend's talking to someone, maybe this thing will be shining or glowing in the top right. Click on that and it'll jump you into the conversation. So I don't know. Also, we'll have to see, because I don't know, a lot of these things too are from like 2021, and maybe they added something maybe later in the game. I don't know. And I'm just guessing.
Again, I feel like we're missing something, because like I watched a couple of videos today. I've been doing a little bit of research, and people are saying how this is like the best co-op experience ever. And I'm like, maybe you guys don't play the games this reason I do, but I have heard like, it's fun. You're walking around with your friends and all that, and say they have a higher perception skill and they see something that you can't see, and you can still have access to that because you have them walking around with you. So I guess there are all those moments. We just haven't got to it yet. It just, so far, it just feels like disjointed. Like you start a battle and you let me know, and I just walk there and kind of join, but I'm all the way at the back. So I just gotta like take a couple turns just engage, or I start a conversation. Like we started a conversation with that Lavala character, and came to a big decision at the end where we had to decide whether to fight or let her go. And that was the only thing you saw, and you were like, "Oh, what's going on? What's happening?" I was like, "Well, there's these people." She
But
was
that's the thing, Mike. That's D&D.
well, maybe I
That
don't
is
like
exactly how
D&D.
D&D is. If you play, like I'm telling you, when you play with a party of people, there will be moments like, yes, you'll hear from like the D&D, which by the way is like the narrator of this game. You'll hear him saying stuff, but your character will not know what's going on. They will come into the situation and they'll be like, "What the fuck is happening?" And that's kind of how D&D is as a role playing game. Like, so if I come into that conversation, I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" That's the point. Like, that's what makes it so exciting, because it's supposed to feel organic. If I was talking, which I mean, they made it unorganic in the fact that you can jump into a conversation from very far away. That's just a, what is the way of saying it? It's like a
Gamified.
accessibility thing.
It's
Or
gamified.
gamified. Yeah, gamified, which is fine. I have no problem with that. So that is a nice little bonus. That's better than what, well, I guess that is like D&D in a sense. But that's the point. Like, it's supposed to feel organic. You're supposed to be, you got to remember, you got to turn your brain off, Mike, from normal games, and you got to think of this like D&D. You are a character, you are role playing in this situation. If you go off in a different direction than me, you're going to run into stories that I didn't. And then maybe you can come and tell me about those stories. And that's what makes it so exciting. I'm like, "Oh man, I missed out on that." Like, that's cool. Like, you could tell me about that story or something like that. Or
See,
maybe
to
you got
me,
trapped and then you could be like, "Oh man, I got trapped," or something like that. Or, "I'm going to jail and I need your help." Like, that's cool. That makes me feel like we're in an organic situation that, like, I as a character do not know what's happening because I'm not there with you. But if I'm there with you, I know everything that's happening. And I probably will stick with you a little bit more this time because I do kind of want to be a part of more of it. But I'm not upset that like I missed some things that you did, because it's just funny. Because when I come in, it makes me feel like real D&D. It makes me feel like, "Oh man, what the fuck happened? Why are you about to kill this lady that literally we saw at the beginning of the game?" And then I love that. I don't know. I just thought it was fantastic.
see,
It felt very organic. It felt great.
I
And
don't love that at
but that's
all.
the thing, though. That's why if you do want to replay the game, because by the way, I mean, we're technically not even going to get the full experience no matter what by the time we beat it. The game has a ton of ways to beat it, supposedly, from what I hear. And also, every decision in this game matters. Even if you grab something off the ground, that fucking matters. That's going to come into play at some point. And so I don't think even after the first time we play it, we're going to get everything in this game, and that has me very excited because I love that. That's exactly how D&D is. Everything is like a set campaign, but every time you play it, it's different, and that's how this game's going to be, and that's cool. I'm excited for that.
I
So
guess
I'm fine with
maybe
that. This will be our co-op playthrough, and then we can do our own single player playthroughs on the side, which
I
is fine with me.
I guess maybe it's I'm judging the tree by the leaf, so I don't know if that's a saying. I just came up with that. It's a pretty damn
Yeah,
good
but
saying.
I do think if they in the future it would be cool, and usually Larian's pretty cool with adding a lot of bonus stuff down the line. I do think it'd be kind of cool if there was a way that, again, as I said, maybe like a baton passing in the conversations and like that. That'd be an easy way to get everybody involved, especially if you're about to get to a charisma check or something like that, or persuasion or anything like that, or you need dexterity or strength in this moment. Like, it would be nice to be able to baton pass that situation. There are some situations where you can cancel out of a conversation and then say, "Hey, can you come in and do that?" But not all the time. Sometimes you literally have to make a choice. And so it'd be nice to have a baton pass kind of situation or a jump in kind of thing. That would be an easy fix, in my opinion. So,
All
yeah.
right. Well, maybe I need to just change my mindset a little bit, but
You just gotta like ungamify it and just think that you are role playing as this character. Just take that in as a moment and role play as your character. Think of that way.
I'm playing a
That's
video
how
game.
D&D is, man. D&D, you gotta like turn off the brain that you are you, and you need to be your character at all times. So if there's something that obviously you as a person don't agree with doing that, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to role play the character that you're playing. You're trying to be the character you want to be. So yeah, you just gotta think of it that way.
Man, we probably shouldn't have killed that lady, huh?
I thought it was funny. I was totally down for it. When you said, "Let's kill this lady," I'm like, "Yeah." And then I got over there and literally she just got teamed up on. Like, I was like, there was 4 of you guys on this one girl that literally was just trying to get back somewhere, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna kill her, and I'm like, okay.
She only had
Also,
14
that
health
fly just
too.
flew run from. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
know.
know. She got demolished, and then I took her armor, and I looked so stupid for so long. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we
But
gotta get
okay,
better. We gotta get better at sharing loot because this bitch comes in. I had this whole conversation, made the decision that we were gonna kill her. I killed her, and then he's like, "Doo-doo-doo, "Loot's mine."
I took all of it and just said goodbye.
Little
Uh,
bitch. All right, well maybe I gotta change my mindset, but I do want to have my own single player playthrough.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So
I was already planning on it. I think after like I really want to play it with you, and then also I kind of want to play a single player thing where I might be a different class or something like that. Maybe I kind of want to be a barbarian. I might do
apparently,
barbarian as my other
I,
character.
I was looking up like a tier list, and barbarians are garbage in this game.
Really?
The monk's
Wow.
apparently the worst one.
Damn. Because
Mine's like
usually
C.
barbarian in D&D is like really fucking good, especially because you can use rage, and rage does like a ton of damage.
You want to know
So
what the number one class is? S tier, the only one S tier one.
what?
Paladin.
Paladin? Hey, it's me.
Yeah, it's me. It's
Hey,
me, Mario.
Paladin's
Okay,
cool.
let's keep it moving now. We got a short
Yeah.
episode. I want to get back to playing Baldur's Gate. I'm trying to get in the mindset. But Logan and I both played only one more night of Exo Primal. I don't have anything else to say on it.
I will say I did finally figure out two things. One, for the people out there that are playing on PC, don't turn on HDR because I just learned HDR is bugged, and I've been learning that there's a reason why my GPU hasn't been utilized all the way. A lot of people online are like, "Oh, you got a CPU bottleneck." I'm like, clearly no, and they're saying it to a lot of other people. I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense because this is literally the only game that has that problem. And so, after doing some investigating, especially on Reddit or whatever, yeah, Exoprimal has HDR mode is bugged, and I don't know if this is for NVIDIA based graphics cards, but I know for me, for my AMD, yes, if you turn on HDR for some reason, it doesn't utilize your entire GPU. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. So now I turned it off, and I have almost double the performance I had before. So I don't know why, but yeah, HDR for some reason is just fucked. I don't know why. The second thing is, Mike, I figured out why cutscenes are so demanding. Did you know Exoprimal had ray tracing? Because the cutscenes do. The cutscenes specifically have ray tracing in them.
So you said
I
that,
had no
and
idea.
my rig doesn't have a problem with running the cutscenes. My computer has such a problem with freaking processing the audio. The audio
Oh,
desyncs and
yeah.
cuts out all the time. The menus lock up all the time. I don't have a problem once I get into the game. My computer's actually pretty freaking solid
Well,
at
the
running this
cutscenes are.
game.
It's not that the cutscenes are bad. It's just they're more demanding than like everything else. Like when you get into a cutscene, you notice your GPU and your frame rate drop a little bit. That's because there's ray tracing being turned on during those scenes, and only during cutscenes. Like that's not something you could. I don't even think there's even a toggle to turn that off. The only versions that don't have ray tracing on for those is the Xbox One and PS4 version of this game. But the Series X, PS5, and PC version all have ray tracing in the cutscenes.
Well,
It's very weird.
that's probably why I'm not experiencing because my card doesn't have any RT cores, so it just doesn't process
Maybe,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
my computer just can't do ray tracing. Like, there's no RT cores in it, so that's probably why I'm not experiencing. Because, like I said, I was very confused because like the cutscenes run flawlessly for me outside of that audio problem. So I
Yeah,
didn't really,
they're just
I didn't really
weirdly they
understand.
were just weirdly demanding, and I just thought that was so weird because like you would be playing the game and then it would jump to a cutscene. It's like super demanding for some reason. Like it wasn't like super bad. Like it didn't drop me to unplayable or unreasonable. I mean, at the time that it wasn't using my GPU all the way, it was kind of bad. But now that I figured it out, I'm running the game at about 180 frames per second compared to 98 frames per second. That's a bit of a difference. So
I run it at
yeah.
90. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, so yeah, so that's fun little things I learned, and I mean we had fun playing Exo Primal again. I think
It's
yeah,
fine.
I'm really excited to play again now that I actually have higher performance. It'll be, I mean it's not gonna like wildly change everything, but it's gonna make things feel a little bit more smooth. So that's cool.
All right, let me get through those next two things. I want to end with your last thing. So,
Yeah.
I finally got my RAM kit in. Yay! I went through
Woo.
the ringer with Amazon and whoever was shipping it. So, no big deal. Put it in. Didn't start up the first time. Was a little worried. Restarted. Started the second time. Always restart. So, It does have a problem with my motherboard technically supports 3600 megahertz, but it's not a stable 3600 megahertz. It's a little too
Hmm.
fast for it. So I'm running it at 3400. So just to keep it under that thing. But technically, I'm not utilizing the full thing. But it does allow my CPU to be utilized fully to its max, because before that I was running at 2666, which is just not enough for Ryzen, especially not um, Ryzen second gen. It needs
Hmm.
RAM. It needs a shit ton of RAM. So I'm finally able to utilize my full width of power. And
I think
then
for my, oh, sorry, go on.
no, go on, go on.
I was gonna say, I think for my birthday, I might ask for some RAM. I might go all the way up, just go 64, just max it out, just cause.
Make sure your motherboard supports it, because
I think it does.
you do have a Beeline motherboard. So it's the more mid-tier chipset. So make sure it just supports up to that speed. So it's like technically I can buy faster DDR4 RAM, but my motherboard only supports up to 3600 megahertz. So but anyway, while he's looking that up, last week I talked about Neo Genesis Evangelion, a new anime that I started watching. I put that on hold a little bit because I had heard wind of this little known anime called Vinland Saga. It The second season came out earlier this year, in June, sorry, on Netflix. IGN gave the season 2 a 10 out of 10, so that piqued my interest a little bit. I'm like, well, maybe there's some quality there. Logan, let me tell you something. This has immediately shot up not just my list of animes, just my basic list of best TV shows of all time. This anime, dude, this show is on a whole nother level, man. You need
Damn.
you need to sit down and watch this thing. I watched the entire first season in 2 days, 24 episodes. And I don't watch TV like that. That's not who I am. I watch a couple episodes a day and then I go do other stuff. I don't watch TV like that, and I could not stop. I will say it's not perfect, obviously. Just like all animes, different seasons are split into like different like arcs and levels. Like this one, it's the first 12 episodes and then the second 12 episodes. And the second 12 episodes are much, much slower than the first 12. The first 12 skip through like 8 to 10 years of story pretty quickly. And the next set of episodes, it's like all set within the same couple months. So the story definitely slows down a lot, allows you to deal with the repercussions of that kind of events that take place in the first kind of portion of the season. And they kind of build out the characters from there. It's very similar to like, I guess it's completely different than Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones takes forever to get anywhere. But you know how like the first little bit sets everything up, and then the second part of it kind of brings that all to fruition. Like the first
Hmm.
part of season one sets up all the characters, like gets them to where they need to be for this second kind of season arc. And that second season arc really slows things down, lets the characters breathe, and lets you come to terms with what's happening and the fallout of everything. And man, I'm telling you, this thing is legit good. If you care about storytelling and characters in anime, some people don't. Some people just watch anime for the fun action scenes and the brutality and the sexualization of things. If that's what you care about anime, I don't know if this one's for you. This one definitely heavily on the character development and the world itself, what it's setting up. Um, for those of you that don't know, it's set during the Danish invasion of Britain in the early 1000s, AD, I almost said AD, BC, and it's set kind of all around the Danes and the Saxons and everything else kind of going on with that. And it uses like real world historical events to kind of portray these different things that happen. Like if a king died in the real life, he dies in this show. Not in the same way, but they use their own way with their own characters to kind of meld that together. It's very Assassin's Creed how it kind of melds the history together into their own storytelling. And dude, the art style is amazing. If you do watch anime for strictly action, the action scenes in this are over the top when they do happen. They're not as prevalent as other things that I've seen. You do build up to those action scenes, and it's just really, really good storytelling, man. And like the characters that they set up and everything that they do, I think is just very, very well done from a character perspective. And like I said, I'm already in the season 2. I'm about 6 episodes in the season 2. Unfortunately, when I finish season 2, I'm gonna have to wait like half a decade for season 3 to come out because animes take forever to come out. So, and it took Vinland Saga 4 years to come out with its second season. So I'm in for a long wait, but I'm willing to make that
And
wait.
not only that, it also takes a long time just to get the English version of it out
That is
too.
true. Well, I mean, season 2 of Vinland Saga premiered in January, ended in June, and we already have the English version. So
Well, yeah, and what I mean by that is like I don't know how they release it, so I don't know if they released it all as one.
no, this
I'm
one
not
was released
sure.
over time, and then after it was all done, then it came to like Netflix and
Because
all that.
usually it's
So
like every 2 weeks after the first release, they finally release. So they start with Japan, obviously Japanese, and then every 2 weeks after that, usually they come out with the English version of each episode. So usually it's like every 2 weeks.
what?
So
I
it
probably
takes a
won't
little
watch
bit
this.
longer for all the English, but it does usually come out at least towards the end.
Yeah.
Like I'm still waiting for all Demon Slayer's new season. Well, if you want to call it season 4, but I call it season 3. I have to wait for all that to become English still, and that's been finished for like a month now.
Well,
So,
while you wait, check out Vinland Saga. I
oh,
think you're
dude,
really.
actually, this was on my list. I've been wanting to watch it. It looks fucking great. It
I
looks cool.
I think it's pretty top tier. I still don't think it's as good as Cowboy Bebop. Dude, Cowboy Bebop just holds a special place in my heart. Like, it's one of the first animes I truly sunk my teeth into back in the day, and it just holds a special place. Vinland Saga's probably better, but Cowboy Bebop was just something else for me, you know?
Also, I'm gonna watch that Zom 100, which is also a new Netflix one that looks awesome. Basically, like he has a bucket list before he becomes a zombie. It's fucking great looking. It
I am
looks so good.
I am looking at School of the Dead or School of the Damned. I don't remember which one, but I have to get like Crunchyroll and all that to watch that. And Crunchyroll is
Yeah.
just the worst app ever created.
No, it is. It sucks.
It's awful,
It's
dude.
bad.
It's impossible to find anything, and some things are in the Japanese names, some things are in the English names, and I just don't know how to search for anything on that app, dude. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it's really really bad.
and apparently Funimation is a better app, but way less content.
Well,
So,
that's the thing. Funimation doesn't exist anymore.
oh,
Funimation got bought by Crunchyroll, so Crunchyroll owns Funimation now. So it's all Crunchyroll.
do you know who owns Crunchyroll?
Who?
Sony.
Well, Sony?
Sony,
Fucking fix the damn app.
dude, you want to talk about monopoly? Sony has monopoly on anime, dude. They own fucking everything, dude. They own so much anime stuff. It's
That's
crazy.
actually what's weird now. A lot of companies are starting to buy anime. Even Disney is buying anime stuff now. So like we have Netflix. They have a lot of their
Oh
own anime
god,
stuff
we're gonna get the
now.
fucking Little Mermaid remake part 3 in
I
anime.
know. I don't know, man.
Dude, did you see
Please
that?
no.
Did you see that Haunted Mansion is the next big failure? It tanked the box office. I could be happier because I am an extreme hate for Disney right now.
Oh no, me too. But I do want to watch that movie though because I like Haunted Mansion and I actually like the actors in it and it looked decent to me. It wasn't a movie I was like, oh, I got to go to the theaters to go see this. Like I was more excited for it. Also came out at a horrible time. I mean, we have Barbie and Oppenheimer right now, and it's like, what would you rather watch, Haunted Mansion or Oppenheimer and Barbie?
What's funny
So
is, so Haunted Mansion debuted this past weekend. Oppenheimer and Barbie second weekend. Both of those movies beat Haunted Mansion at the box office.
oh yeah.
That's rough. Speaking of the latter, I gave you guys my spoiler-free review and impressions of the latest epic from Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, last week. Mr. Logan was supposed to join me then and there, but we didn't get a chance to. So I'm going to turn it over to him. He has seen Oppenheimer. Still keep it spoiler free. We may do a spoiler discussion on it as a little special episode. We'll have to talk about that off screen. So stay tuned to the channel. We might decide to do that. We'll let you guys know, obviously. But take it away, man. What did you think of Christopher Nolan's latest epic?
I was pretty blown away, to be honest. I left that movie with a lot more of a happy face than my wife Amy was. She was bored. But for me, I absolutely loved it. And the thing is, this isn't my type of movie. And also, for people that go into this movie expecting to be an action-packed movie, I don't know what you saw in the trailers because it's not a very action-packed movie. It's not that type of movie. It's about Oppenheimer and about him building the nuke, not him dropping nukes like crazy. Like that's not how it was all about. And in general, I was blown away. I thought it was fantastic. I was intrigued the entire time. Um, I thought every person acted insanely well. I thought the cinematography was fucking fantastic, especially when I got to see it in IMAX, dude. Oh, it looked so good. The the freaking coloration of the movie is fantastic. The sound system that they have for this movie is stupid. I especially just love the way that like throughout the movie they they're like explaining things and they drop in this like more and more teasing towards the what I want to call probably end of the second act and close to the third act or whatever of this, the nuke itself. And it's like really fucking cool hearing this like and then like they're talking and then later on he's like talking about like atoms splitting and stuff like that. And then you just see all these like effects and everything and it's fucking cool. I especially just love the use of the show don't tell, where they do a lot of this like he's thinking of these things and instead of him being like, oh, I'm thinking of these things like a lot of dumb movies would be, it's like they're showing you like kind of what he's thinking at the moment or like what his wife was thinking in that one moment. Like I was like, that's fucking cool, man. Like that's great, that's fantastic.
Dude,
Everyone acted so
that
well.
that fucking perspective change with the wife scene, I was like,
Hmm.
holy shit. I love perspective changes in movies if it's pulled off well. And again, I don't want to really dive into too much spoilers. There's a whole plot line that deals with like what happens at the end and what I think makes it so powerful, but it's a major spoiler, so I'm not going to say that. But dude,
Hmm.
that perspective change that he pulled off and the way that it was shot, fucking
Hmm.
hell, dude. My god.
It was just so good. And then like yeah, all the actors were just like nailing it the entire way. The dude that played Oppenheimer deserves some
Cillian Murphy.
fucking praise, dude. Fantastic. Also Robert Downey Jr., so damn good. Um and
And it
I know
feels
there's a
like
bunch of other people, I'm trying to remember their names, but
everybody's in. Fucking Josh Peck is in this movie.
I know.
It feels like everybody just came in for like a couple scenes because they wanted to be in a Christopher Nolan movie, dude.
Mhm.
Everyone's just flowing in left and right, and
And
God,
it's just so good. Like
it's a movie you can
it
chew on.
and as you said, it really doesn't like take its time with anything. Like it actually like everything matters and everything it doesn't feel like there's any padding to this movie. Like every second of this movie matters.
Yeah,
Everything that they explain matters. I also just love the way that they did the storytelling in this where yes, sometimes it does jump ahead of time a little bit, but like it all makes sense towards the end of the movie and a lot of things are explained at the very end. You pretty much do get literally every answer that you want by the end of the movie, and it's literally just so good. Like I was blown away. I when it ended, and especially the message it had to tell at the very end, I'm like,
yeah.
damn. I literally just sat there and I'm like, fuck, this
Now,
is
did
this is
you
good.
uh did you have a problem hearing the people too? Because I said last week that I have a problem with Christopher Nolan's dialogue mixing. His sound mixing is great. I love music that what he does. I have a problem with his dialogue mixing. I've had a problem with it for most of his movies since The Dark Knight Rises, and there were points in times where I was like, "What the fuck did he say? I can't hear him."
I do think there were a couple scenes, but I think the main scene that got me, and I'm not gonna say any like, it's basically it's from the trailer, but it's basically like the scene where he's in that kind of gymnasium and he's talking in front of people. That part, like, yes, some parts were clearly creatively it was mute, but there was also other moments where clearly he's trying to say something, and the music and other effects that he's playing is too loud, so it's kind of hard to really pick out like what he's saying in that moment. And that was probably the biggest moment that I could think of, but that was also towards the end of the movie, so that's why I can remember it so fresh at the moment. But I do think there's other moments where I think he uses some of the effects a little too heavy, and I do think the mixing that they did in those moments, they put the effects way too high, where the voice is way too low. That's only a couple moments, but I wouldn't say it was like too bad. Like I was able to hear 98% of the
I
movie, I would
see.
say. Probably more than that, more like 99%. But there was like that 1%, like a few moments where like they just cranked up those effects and music too loud, in my opinion, where I'm like, I can't really hear what he's saying. I had to really like pick out and kind of pick out the music and the effects and try to push it away so I can actually focus on like what he's saying. But other than that, I thought it was great.
I mean, I think the movie is absolutely
I
phenomenal.
say
I
S
think,
tier, 100%. This is
yeah, I
easy
mean,
fucking S. And again, this isn't my type of movie. I like action packed stuff. I like things to be more interesting and more just. But I feel like there's enough happening in this, and especially a lot of like drama and politics, and just also in general, if you love cinematography, this is like a movie for you too. Because
well,
I love very heavy cinematography movies where they really like they pull all the creative punches in this movie, and I think it's fantastic in that way.
well, that's what I said last week. Like, if you care at all about the simple art of filmmaking and like what it means to be a film and how to make it, this is a 3-hour magnum opus lecture on how to make a film. You know,
Hmm.
and it's like if you care about that art form, some people don't. Some people just want to sit down and laugh, have fun, see explosions, see fights. Perfectly acceptable. That's perfectly fine. You don't care about the art form. There's nothing wrong with that. I care about the art form of filmmaking and movies. So a movie like this, just because there's not a single high octane action scene, I can enjoy it as much as an MCU movie that comes out. Well, recently, way more than MCU movie. But what I'm talking about is back in the day, or just a simple
Hmm.
action flick. Like, look, man, like you said, I just think in a 3-hour movie, there wasn't a single moment or a single scene that I thought didn't need to be there. Every
Yeah.
single line of dialogue, every single shot, it was all purposefully put in there. And I know that sounds kind of dumb. Everything is purposely put in there when you do a movie, but it's sometimes it feels when you watch movies like they just like we'll just do a shot reverse shot dialogue sequence.
Hmm.
If you don't know what that, I'm not gonna get into it. Fucking if you don't know what shot reverse shot is, just look it up. But this movie just feels like every single camera movement, every single point, every single line of dog, just everything is have to be there. Which is why I never found a moment to go pee. I had to pee for the entire movie.
Yeah.
I just held it because I'm like, I can't leave. There's not a single thing that I can leave on this movie. And
I will definitely say Christopher Nolan really loves his low apertures. That's all I gotta say. There are so many moments where the person that they're focusing on is super in focus and everything in the background is bokeh out, basically completely blurred out in every way or form.
yeah,
There's so many I know he's like straight up using like an aperture of f1.8 through like most of this movie because like shit like especially that moment where he's walking through the crowd at this like uh kind of meeting that he goes to. I guess it's not like much of a spoiler, but he's going to like a communist little party thing or whatever. And yeah, like that whole scene where it's like, dude, you straight up just shot this in like f1.8 the entire time. Like everything was bokeh out, everything was super blurry, and it was just focused on him, and it worked. I'm
yeah,
not upset
because
by it, but I just could tell he really loved the aperture during this movie
I
because
mean,
that was heavily used.
it's guiding the audience's mind. Like he
Well,
wants
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, the movie's about this one guy and
Especially when he
the
walks out of the
events of his
president's
life.
office too, where like, yeah. Uh, God, it's just so good. It's a
And
good movie,
it
and
said,
I really want to see it again. So it was good.
I did some research and well, I didn't do the research, I guess. I listened to people who did the research and they said like 98% of the movie is completely factual. And it's like,
Oh, I'm
damn, man.
sure.
Damn. Like he
I
did his
just
research.
especially love the man. I just love the twist at the end. And I know it's like something like if you knew about the history, it probably wasn't that crazy. But for me, it was like, oh, that was good. That was good. Like not only his wife, god damn, dude, she's a bad bitch. That's all I gotta say. Secondly, what happened to Robert Downey Jr. Not gonna ruin it, but it was phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
so good.
All right.
God, it
Well,
is good
I
times.
I feel like even though we're not really a movie podcast, we're a pop culture podcast, and I feel like we owe it to ourselves to at least sit down for X amount of time and just talk about the nuances and the spoilers and like how different scenes matter. So I'm on board if
Three.
you're on board.
I want to give you four things to know before you go to see this movie. One, if you like cinematography, go see it. You like drama, go see it. You like history, go see it. And fourth, there is a little bit of comedy in here. Little bits. And I think they're pretty good. Those moments. They're used very wisely. So, yes, go see it if you enjoy those four
I
things.
got two more
If
things,
not,
right? One's
yes.
serious, one's not serious. First thing to add on to Logan's 4 points, if you like the simple act of writing and character
Hmm.
work. This is a character drama through and through. And second, if you like Florence Pugh, go see this movie.
Oh, last thing else, if you want the most insane cast of fucking actors and actresses, that's another thing to go see it for, because I'm telling you, they have so many people in this movie.
Like people just
I
kept
did not
walking.
expect some of them.
People just kept walking on frame. I'm like, fuck, you're in here too? God damn.
Especially the scientist scene where they're going in recruiting. Holy
Yeah.
shit, dude. I was like, I literally just kept grabbing him. Oh my god, look who it is. Like, I was like, no way. Especially when Josh Peck popped up, like Amy was like, oh my god, like that's him. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, I am happy personally that Peyton walked out, my significant other. Peyton walked out of the movie and really enjoyed it because I've tried to impress upon her the study and the art of filmmaking that goes on behind the scenes. And I feel like she's kind of getting it, you know. At the
Surprised she
beginning,
didn't say it was boring. I'm surprised.
no, she loved it. She liked this more than Barbie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I think I've rubbed off on her on like the art of filming because she's so hyped for Dune. And Dune is
I'm excited.
another one of those kind of like slow moving character dramas, you know. So I think I've impressioned on her enough, you know. I've imprinted on her, to say it in the worst terms possible. So that's good. But anyway, yes, guys, go see Oppenheimer. I feel like we're gonna do a spoiler cast, a spoiler talk. It won't be super long, but there's a lot of things I want to say and I want to get out there. So we might think about doing that. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Maybe we'll just have it a point of the show next week. Who the hell knows? But all right, we're gonna go now to around the point where we here at the video game world. So I screwed it up. Where we here at the Experience Point go around the video game world and give you the news that you need to know about. I forgot to change the scene back. Number one on Around the Point. Once again, the rumor mill has kicked up, but this one seems a little bit more legitimate. The next iteration of the Nintendo Switch, the beloved Nintendo Switch, who is still climbing the sales ladder. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Is now rumored to release in the second half of 2024. This coming from sources at the VGC. They said development kits for the unannounced console are now with partner studios, with a second half of 2024 release window set to give Nintendo enough time to ensure plenty of stock for launch. Apparently, this next generation console can be used in portable mode like the Nintendo Switch and has an LCD screen as opposed to an OLED screen in order to keep costs down, but it also comes with a cartridge slot for physical games. However, the crucial question of backwards compatibility with Nintendo Switch games remains unclear, and that's all we have right now. But if development kits are in people's hands, it's finally coming, guys. It's here, it's happening. We're getting the Switch 2, also known as the Switch U. I hope they.
Wii U.
Dude, honestly, if they call it the Switch 2 or the Switch U, I'd be on board. You know, I don't know why. That's a stupid name. They'll never do that. They're just gonna call it the Switch 2. But or maybe they call it completely something different. Who knows?
Maybe, just maybe. Here we go. They call it new Nintendo Switch.
You know what's funny? Nintendo is. Well, I guess Xbox is those too. So I guess maybe it's not that funny. But Nintendo's never had a sequel console. They've always named it something new. Yeah.
That's fair.
The closest thing that we got was the NES to SNES, which is just Nintendo and everything.
Well, technically, when the Wii U be a sequel, they just technically.
I
Because
guess
it's just
so,
like
yeah.
then if you're gonna say that, then you'd
Yeah,
say,
I guess so.
okay, well, Xbox didn't have a sequel because they named every single one a different.
But what I
thing
mean
with
is, like,
Xbox.
we have PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, the Switch has never done that outside of the Wii U, I guess. I forgot about the Wii U because the Wii U is forgettable.
Yeah.
So, Wii is very forgettable. So, my bad. Never mind. I retract said statement. But I feel like they're not going to call this thing the Switch 2 because they've never put a number on their consoles ever before.
I just hope to God they don't name it new Nintendo Switch, dude. That people want to make fun of Xbox, but I think that and the Wii U are probably the stupidest names I've ever heard for a console. Especially that, like, literally, like, a parent comes out and they're like, "Hey, I'm trying to get my kid the 3DS. Oh, do you want the 3DS or new 3DS?" What? Like, who the fuck thought? Yeah, let's call it new 3DS. So is it always a new 3DS? Is it always new? Because I mean, I know it's in the past, but do I want the new 3DS when it's not new?
I will say Nintendo's bad, but Xbox is way worse at naming their
Oh no,
stuff.
Xbox is pretty bad. I'm not gonna say, but I will say they aren't the only ones because
Yeah, I get it.
Nintendo is pretty bad too. Because Nintendo with the Wii U and the fucking the new 3DS still bothers me. I got the new 3DS. That's when I finally got a 3DS. But
I don't understand what the problem is. Just calling it the Switch 2. Fucking put a number on it. The next PlayStation is going to come out, and no one's like, well, what's the new PlayStation's going to be called? No one's ever going to ask that because it's going to be called the PlayStation 6. Like, it's fucking simple. You just move on to the next number.
Simple. I wonder what's going to happen when PlayStation finally gets to PlayStation 9. Are they going to call it PlayStation 9, or are they going to be like every other thing, and they're like, we're going to skip 9, and we're going to call it PSX. That's what we're going to call it. Because that's what people just don't like 9 for some reason. I don't know why.
They can't call it, when they do get to 10, they technically can't call it PSX because the PSX already existed. Now, this is some PlayStation knowledge. The PSX is a very, very, very niche product that came out in Japan that was a combo PlayStation 2 and VCR recorder for the TV. And it's existing. You can go look this up. This thing is super expensive, by the way. It's like $500 to buy it, and then you have to import it from Japan. It is an incredibly niche product, which I still don't know why they made it. But yeah, it's technically a VCR that you can put a PS2 disc into, and it runs a PlayStation 2 inside of it. It's called PSX. Look it up. But that's a very niche PlayStation knowledge thing.
Oh, I got a better name. You ready for it?
Wait, we're talking about PlayStation or Switch?
New PSX.
No, PlayStation won't do that. They're just putting a 6 on it, dude. Like, the weirdest PlayStation ever got was the PS Vita, and that was dumb. But
I liked it. You didn't like the Vita? Really?
I mean, I thought it was a dumb name.
There's PSP. What are they going to call it?
PSP 2? Yeah, PSP 2.
That sounds dumb.
Well, PlayStation Portable 2.
PSP. No, I can't put that.
Or they can just add a second P and call it PSPP.
SPP.
PSPP.
Yes. More P per more power. The more P's, the more power.
Let's be honest. PSP is an awesome name. PlayStation Portable. It's a PSP.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic.
That's an awesome name. PS Vita is non sequitur. It makes no sense. What the fuck is it? If you just said PlayStation Vita, no one would know what it is. If you said PlayStation Portable, everyone knows what that is, even if you have no clue about the industry. If I went to my grandpa and said, what do you think a PlayStation Portable is? He's like, oh, it's a PlayStation you can take on the go. Perfect, nailed it. If I walked up to my grandpa and said, what's a PlayStation Vita? He's like, I don't fucking know. Is it a drink? Because it sounds like a drink. Sounds like a freaking energy drink that PlayStation
I guess a PSP 2 could have worked. It could have worked. Yeah.
Because you think, like, PSP is just kind of like the short for it. It's called PlayStation Portable. That's what the device is called. So, but anyway, we've got way off track.
Yeah, way off topic. Yeah.
But obviously, we're both excited about this. I thought it was interesting that, granted, none of this is confirmed yet. This is all leaks and things reported, but like they say they have dev kits in their hands. So like if that's true, then it's a real thing. But like the fact that it's launching with an LCD screen instead of an OLED screen, they say
that hurts.
They say it's to save money, but I'm like, dude, your OLED Switch that has other improvements is only $50 more. So like how much of a savings could it possibly be to take away the negatives of having LCD versus OLED? It's like, I don't know.
The only positive I would see is if they spent all that extra $50 into power, maybe, I guess. We'll see. If it's like a really, really strong upgrade, then I could see the point. Which I still think my biggest worry with the new Switch is backwards compatibility. And I hope to God that's gonna be something that they're gonna do.
I don't think they have a problem with that. When has Nintendo never had backwards compatibility?
Switch.
Different platform. I'm talking about within the same platform. Like, you have Wii and Wii U that's backwards compatible.
That's fair.
GameCube. Yeah. I mean, the Wii is compatible with GameCube. So it's like,
was the Wii U with the GameCube as well?
I think
that's what I mean. Those are two separate platforms. Why were they backwards compatible? GameCube and the Wii are different.
I guess so. I don't know. I guess just Nintendo's been a lot more friendly with backwards compatibility. I guess.
Other than the Switch. But I'm going to hope that, the next Switch, because, I mean, come on, Switch is the most popular console.
But also,
you want people to move over.
What I mean by that is GameCube, Wii, and Wii U are all disc-based. How the hell are you supposed to put a disc into the Switch? Like, there's no way to make that backwards compatible innately, just by the design of it. These are both cartridge-based systems. So it makes
That's
sense
fair.
that you just put the cartridge in, you know? Like,
Yeah.
how you supposed to put a GameCube disc into your Switch? Like, you know?
An attachment.
And, I mean,
They put a little attachment on there.
it's Nintendo, so they love to sell you
They
accessories, dude.
do.
Nintendo accessories are wild. By the way, I didn't put it into the sales thing. Did you hear that the DualSense Edge is the best-selling accessory across the entire video game market this year? That blows my mind.
That's cool.
The DualSense
That's
Edge,
nice.
the
Yeah.
freaking premium controller. It's not that good, and I have it. It's not that good.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm glad that we're finally starting to get things. Again, this is still not confirmed or anything. It's still technically a rumor, but we all know it's fucking coming. We know it's gotta be here shortly. The generation is clearly coming to an end. Yes, I know The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is an awesome video game, but there's clearly limitations of the hardware based off a chip that came out 6 years ago that was underpowered when it came out. So it's like,
And if you
go ahead.
even if you look at it, like the releases for the rest of the year with all the other games, they all are going to be out by the end of this year. So, other than I think there may be another one that's coming out next year, I don't know for sure. But I think they're going to announce it either in November or they're going to announce it towards the beginning of next year, maybe in like February. That's the two times I could think them announcing this system. Because this is for sure coming out by next year.
Yeah.
They keep saying they're not doing it. It's not that. No, it's coming out next year. The Switch has been out for a long time. It's not even about it being underpowered or that. It's just like, well, I guess it is. It is about it being under. It is old now. It is old. It's been out for quite a long time. I mean, it came out in 2017, right? So 6 years, almost 7. So if it comes out around the time next year, that would be about 7 years it's been out, which is a good amount of time for it to be out.
I mean,
and sales are
that's how long generations last. Like,
yeah.
people got stuck up on the PS3 generation because it lasted almost 9 years. And it's like, that was only because it was a recession smack dab in the middle of it. And this generation is probably going to last a year longer than it normally would have because of the problems that happened at launch,
Mhm.
So, I mean, PS4, 7 years. People forget. PS2 only lasted 5 years. People forget that.
Really?
Yeah, PS2
It
launched
only lasted 5 years.
launched in
Damn, dude,
November of 2001. And
dude, that felt like it was out for like a century.
what's funny is it's the shortest lifespan console in recent memory, and it's the best selling. So by a wide, the amount of PlayStations that Sony pushed during the 2001 to 2006, mind-boggling, incredible. But anyway, let's hope we get to hear something from November. If it comes out, I said November, I meant Nintendo. If it comes out in November, that's another prediction I got right. So that'd be happy for me. So, all right, next story. We're continuing on with the leaks and rumors. Logan, how do you feel about an Elder Scrolls 4 remake?
Ooh. I
All
mean,
right.
why not?
Sure. Yeah, at this point in the industry, why the hell not? Anyway, in an now since deleted Reddit post, an alleged former employee of Virtuo Studios has leaked that Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake is in development. Screenshotted and reported by Xfire, the leak states that several projects are in the works at the studios. Typically, we wouldn't report on rumors posted. I don't know why I just read that. However, he says the motto suggested that the verified proof, but the leaker was indeed a former employee of Virtuoso Games. According to the leak, the remaster is running using both Unreal Engine 5 and Oblivion engine. That makes no sense. And could release by the end of early 2024 by the end of 2024 and early 2025. No details on what platforms the game will release were provided, obviously. I mean, it's coming out on Xbox, so yeah. This leak, which is interesting because Virtuoso Studios is remaking Metal Gear Solid 3, and is not owned by Xbox. So this is confusing me. I mean, I guess it could just be a contract game, but
yeah, aren't they busy on that? Like, how many things can they have this? I mean, I guess it hasn't been confirmed yet or anything. It's a leak, but I don't know.
yeah.
Cool
The
though.
other,
I
the other
mean, whatever, you know. I'm excited for it.
the other games that were part of this leak was Project Massive, a quadruple A title described as Monster Hunter Cross Shadow of the Classic. Project Cobra, also known as Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Project Omnus, described as a narrative climbing game, and then a new DLC expansion for the New World MMO. So a lot going on in Virtuoso. Did you just smell your fingers?
No, I did this.
Oh, I thought you were over there just sniffing your fingers.
No. Yeah.
No hate, I do that
Yeah.
sometimes. So, but yeah, I mean, we are in the era of remakes and remasters, the R&R era. That's what I'm gonna call this. And some games deserve it more than others. Elder Scrolls 4, if you go back and play it, it's very unplayable at this point in time. It's ugly as shit, dude. That's an ugly
Yeah,
ass
it
video game.
is. It is very ugly.
So, let's see, 2006 to 2024, 2025. That's more than enough time. So, a lot
Mhm.
better than The Last of Us is 8 years. So, all right, the next story. The story confused the shit out of me when I read it, and I have no clue why this is even happening. And because this isn't a rumor, this is a confirmed story. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is getting a PS4 and Xbox One release, EA says. During the recent EA's earning call, CEO Andrew Wilson revealed that EA will be releasing a PS4 and Xbox One version of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. In the open statements from CEO Andrew Wilson during the call, Wilson outlined Star Wars Jedi Survivor's huge critical acclaim and commercial success. He said, thanks to the strength of this legendary franchise and community demand, our development team is committed to bringing this Jedi experience to PS4 and Xbox One. No details, obviously, on how long it will take for the past generation console versions to be released, but given that a release date hasn't been set, we shouldn't expect it anytime soon. And I did do a little bit of deeper dive into this, and it is in very, very early development. But outside of that,
Why?
I was gonna say, fucking why? Like, I mean, I guess I know why, because there's a
Well,
lot of PS4s and Xbox
there's
Ones out
40
there.
million PS5s out at this point.
There's 125 million PS4s. So there you go. There's why. That's the fucking reason.
I guess that's fair, but like if it's already struggling even on the current gen consoles and it's struggling even on PC, maybe focus on fucking fixing your game. Then you can go make other fucking versions. You can't even fix the fucking versions you came out with now. Fix them.
Yeah,
I don't know how much it's been fixed, but still, supposedly from what I can tell, it's still fucking broken at this point. It still is very unoptimized and it needs to be worked on. So, EA, stop. Get some help.
I would not
Because
call
literally,
Jedi Survivor broken. I call it rough. Like, it's rough. It's not broken. You
okay,
can play it.
it's not broken. It's very unoptimized.
Yeah,
There
it's
you go.
rough.
That's
It's rough.
a better
It's
term.
unoptimized. It's rough.
Very rough. Very rough. Yeah.
I don't know about very rough. I'm a pretty heckler for things, and I was able to play through it with very little complaints. Although I did notice
That's fair.
every time you walk in the water, man, that thing chugs like a fucking alcoholic stepdad just corking back a beer. That reference got way lost, but whatever. But yeah, this makes no fucking sense. Again, it does make sense for they want more money. They want to sell this thing. Go do it. But like, why put so much development time? You're gonna have to pare this thing down so much. No, obviously no ray tracing. Don't need to say that, but the resolution is gonna have to be dropped to 720 probably to get this thing up and running. The freaking textures are gonna be smooth as butter, no detail in it, and it's like this game was built for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Just let it breathe there. Let it exist on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. There's no reason that you have to bring it to last gen consoles, regardless of how much you can or can't make. You know?
Yeah, I just think they need to just it just it's gonna be such a compromised version of the game that it's just not worth it. It really isn't. So I don't know.
And I would like to think at this point in time, 40 million PS5s in the wild, 22 something million Xbox Series X and S's. If you are one of those people that you desperately wanted to upgrade, you've gotten your thing. Now the only thing is left is people just kind of trickle over from the old gens. Like, if you wanted a PS5 or an Xbox, you have it by now.
I mean, trust me, it's so easy that our friend Andrew got it in like a couple days. Like it took him nothing to get one. Like I went to Sam's Club the other day and I saw like 12 PS5s
Yeah,
out
you can
there.
just get them now.
Like, dude, it is so easy. And actually, I just heard news recently, PS5s are going down in price again. Actually, I believe in the UK, it actually went down to 400 something. I think it's like 420
Yeah,
pounds,
you got a
and
first
you
price
get a
decrease.
controller, and you get a controller included with it. So that's pretty good value right there.
But you
So
all
that's like
you all
nice.
you always get a controller included with it. You talking about an extra
No, you
controller?
get an additional
Oh,
controller.
okay.
You get
Well,
two
the
controllers.
way you said it, it's like you
Okay.
always get a
No,
controller with
that's
it.
what I meant. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, EA, good luck. Don't know why you're doing it, but I guess good luck getting that thing to run. You'll probably make some money, but does it really matter at this point in time? Why don't you just fucking make the next one? Like, whatever. Hopefully it's not Respawn that's working on it. Hopefully they just pass it off to someone else. So I want Respawn to make the next thing. So all right, our next rumor. This one I kind of have a problem with, but according to leaks and rumors, Helldivers 2 could be releasing this October, according to a Sony partnership program mission briefing, which was sent to Insider Gaming under the conditions of anonymity. According to this briefing, which appears to be a mistake on behalf of the publisher, creators are told to mention that the game will be released in October. Unfortunately, no exact date was provided. This news comes in light of a new updates on Reddit, which reveals that Helldivers 2 has officially been rated. Speaking of that rating, the summary reads, this is an action game in which players assume the role of soldiers attempting to win an intergalactic war from a third-person perspective using pistols, assault rifles, snipers, flamethrowers, turrets, grenades, and rocket launchers to shoot and kill enemies. IG, robots, cyborgs, giant dinosaurs. Combat is accompanied by realistic gunfire, cries of pain, and blood-splattering effects. Some areas of the battlefield depict bloodstains and dismembered corpses. Players can continue to attack defeated enemies, causing additional blood splatter effects and dismemberment. Players can also shoot and kill human
Oh my
civilians
god,
during rescue missions.
that's what I read. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's awesome. So,
All
all right.
right.
Well,
Okay.
I will say that I have been a huge proponent, probably one of the only proponents on the internet for Helldivers 2 other than Logan over there. No one seems to care. I am very mad that no one seems to care, but I can only do so much. We only have such a small community, but I'm telling you, this game's going to be awesome. The first one was awesome. But I do have a problem, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you release this game in October? That is dumb. If this is true, Sony, please just push it back to mid-November. You got Spiderman. Starfield's right there. You got other. Well, I guess Starfield's not really right there. It's September 6th, but like Starfield's still gonna be there. It's like, I guess maybe this comes out like October 2nd. Then you have 3 or so weeks to breathe in between Spider-Man, and then you also have 3 or so weeks in between Starfield. But it's like Sony's never released multiple first-party games. Well, to be fair, this isn't a first party, it's a second party, but you get what I mean. It's an exclusive game that close to each other. And yes, I understand if you do the math, mid-November is actually closer than the 1st of October. I understand that. Don't at me, internet. But what I'm saying, it just makes more sense to like not release the same game in this not release big budget exclusive games in the same month. It's just not really a winning strategy per se. Ask EA. They tried that. It failed miserably. Something called Titanfall 2. But I guess that's a little different because these are two very different games, Spider-Man and Helldivers. But I don't know. I just think it's a mistake. Maybe it's not a mistake. Who the fuck do I know? Helldivers probably isn't going to sell that much anyway, especially based off how the internet reacted to it. No one seems to care of a game that's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. So, well, let me think. Let me look at dates here. So a Friday is Sony usually releases their games on a Friday. So that Friday would be October 6th. So that only gives it exactly 2 weeks before Spider-Man. And if you release it mid-November, say November 17th, that gives it 4 weeks in between Spider-Man. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But because other than that, the only other day that they release games is on a Tuesday. So that would be October 3rd. And that's only
I mean,
extra
even if
3
they
days.
release it technically even in September, that would be free because it's not like they're getting Starfield anyways. So
Yeah.
like they could literally, the people that have PlayStation could be playing it then.
Well, whenever this game comes out, I'm going to be playing it day one. Logan and I hopefully will be playing it day one. I guess unless it comes out the same day as Starfield, then we're not. But then
that ain't happening.
they're not doing that. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. I just thought that was a weird release date. Doesn't make a lot of sense. usually you want to at least give your game some time to breathe. But I guess Sony could be looking at it as like, are the people who buy Spider-Man going to buy Helldivers? And my answer to that is like, we're Sony people. Yes, we're buying both. But again, I don't know where I'm at. Hopefully it
I mean,
comes
from
out.
what I can tell, a lot of places people don't even know what freaking Helldiver is.
Okay, well, they are fake fans, and they don't deserve the patch of approval, the seal of approval that is Sony fans. I have that patch. It's tattooed on me.
Jeez.
I should get a pony right here. I should just get a pony right here. That'd be awesome. I'm going to get our new logo there. What do you think about that? Yes. All right. Next up, a happy story. I'm just kidding. It's never happy when people lose their jobs, but this one could be, could have spotted this one an earth away. Striking Distance Studios, the developer behind the much beleaguered, much anticipated, much disappointing, much chagrined space horror game, The Callisto Protocol, has been hit with layoffs. This is reading from the IGN article. It's the Striking Distance Studio, the studio behind the 2022 survival horror and Dead Space spiritual successor, The Callisto Protocol, has laid off 32 employees in what it's calling a move to realign the studio's priorities to better position its current and future projects for success. First spotted by a user over on Twitter. I hate that it's called. It's first spotted by X user. First spotted by Twitter user Buggerad, and independently confirmed by IGN. More than 30 employees were in fact impacted by the recent layoffs. In a statement sent to IGN, a spokesperson from Krafton, the publisher behind Striking Distance Studios, said, Striking Distance Studios and Krafton have implemented strategic changes that realign the studio's priorities to better position its current and future projects for success. Unfortunately, these changes have impacted 32 employees, honoring the invaluable contributions of each departing team member with material support in the form of outplacement services and meaningful severance packages is our top priority during this difficult moment. So, I just want to say, I am sorry for those 32 people. Obviously, I don't want to see people lose their jobs. Hopefully, you sign on with a better team or a different team and get to make something that you're passionate about. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you spend $162 million on an 8-hour game. How the fuck?
And they only got back like $2 million.
Well, they sold 2 million copies, so.
I thought, wait.
They sold 2 million copies. But
when I'm reading it said they sold 5 million copies.
No, they wanted to sell. Their initial target.
It was profoundly unlikely to sell 5 million copies. Okay, yeah.
Their internal target for the game was 5 million, but they ended up only selling 2 million copies. But I just want to go back to how the F did you spend $162 making this game? I understand it's one of the most beautiful games we've gotten in a long time, as long as you don't play it on PC. But the visualness, that's not the correct terminology. The visuals behind this game on a very unique level that not a lot of other people can get to. But everything else about the game was lackluster. I want to remind people out there, God of War Ragnarok cost Sony $215 million. This game cost $162 million. How? What the fuck did you...
Close to making their investment, though. They would have gotten about $140 million from all that.
Yeah, but you're not even...
Because the game...
You're not even factoring in, like, what it takes to produce everything and market it and...
Well, that is all them. I'm pretty sure that's included with that budget.
Nope.
Because I'm sure the budget...
That is production budget. That is production budget. I've looked it up. Its production budget was $162 million.
How do they even...
I don't know how
you spend that much and then you come out with a broken launch. How do you spend that much money and then you still release a broken product? How? Like, what?
So let's say...
Especially for you to be a new studio, to have the balls, the cojones, to spend that much money, and then not only that, and also being a new studio, but release a broken game.
Well, it's also...
launch.
I mean, we also got to put some blame on Krafton for giving them that much money. Who gives an unproven team that much money? Again, Sony gave Santa Monica Studios $220 million to make God of War Ragnarok, and they got that money back hand over fist, obviously. But we're talking about a separation of $40 or $50 million. So there is a decent difference there. But there is a much bigger percentage difference between the quality of God of War Ragnarok and the quality of the Callisto Protocol. There is a massive leap there. And mind you, God of War took less time to make than the Callisto Protocol did. And that's a lie. Never mind. Callisto Protocol took 3 years to make. My bad. 3.5 years. God of War took 4.5 years. My fault. But still. I don't know, man. Budgets for games have gotten obscene. The rumor is that GTA 6 is going to cost anywhere between $800 million and $1 billion in just production budget, which seems astronomical. Because the Avengers Infinity, like the Avengers Part 3 and 4, cost, I believe, roughly 520 something million. And it's just production budget. Again, there's a separation between production budget and marketing budget. It's usually estimated that if you spend X amount on game, you also spend that same equal X on marketing. So like if something like, God of War cost 200 plus, Sony probably spent around 200 million or so to market the game. So if we're looking at this, 162 million, double that, 300 and I'm bad at math. 324 million. Plus production, let's just call it even $350 million to market, produce, and put out this game. They got fucking nowhere near that in terms of how much money they gained back. So
Yeah, like, oh my god, yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I mean, again, they definitely are really good with their graphics. They just failed in every other department.
I mean, yeah, the game is objectively stunning in how it
Yeah.
looks. The art and everything and the tech behind it is incredible. I kind of hope they're able to spin that tech off and go make something good, because people
Also,
remember.
don't pay for star power in a video game when it's your first fucking video game. Just get someone off the street and put them in the fucking suit. You don't need to pay for a Hollywood actor to be in your fucking game. That's another reason why it probably got so expensive. That's another thing. Same thing for Cyberpunk. I'm gonna give the same thing. I don't think we needed Keanu Reeves. We could have had fucking anyone being there. Anyone could have taken his job.
Well,
I hate,
not
honestly,
anyone.
when video games
at least a voice actor. I don't think you and I could have pulled it off, but
well, no, but I mean, like, we don't need you to spend that much money. Like, you could be saving so much money and using that money that you would have spent on that actor on more things in the game than literally just an actor being in your game. Like, I don't go play games because of star power. It's not a fucking movie. It's different. I mean, I guess I would play a game for a voice actor that I enjoy, but the voice actor has to be someone that is known in the video game industry that I enjoy, maybe, but I still probably wouldn't even play the game for just that reason. There's plenty of games with probably my favorite voice actors in it, and I probably will never play it because I don't care for the game. People don't play video games for that reason. They're not looking for that. They're looking for a game, a video game. And yes, it may be cinematic, but that doesn't mean you need a fucking Hollywood actor. And I guess the one girl's also famous. I don't really know much about her, so not throwing diss. I just don't know anything about her. But I know he is from Transformers and all that. That's the only thing I can
it's Josh Duhamel.
think of he's been in.
Bro, he's from the TV show Las Vegas. Put some fucking respect on that TV show's name. You've never seen it, but it is legit.
No.
He's also from the Nicholas Sparks movie, Safe Haven. I like Safe Haven. You've never seen it because it's a romance movie, so you turn your brain off.
Yep, that already lost me. Yeah.
I said Nicholas Sparks. What do you think it was?
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. Striking Distance Studio. I don't know what you're spending your money on over there, but lock that shit down. Quit spending so much money. You don't need to. I want to remind people that Control was made for $50 million. If they can make Control for $50 million, there's no reason you spend $162 million on Callisto Protocol. No fucking way. So, all right, our next story. What is it?
Oh, it's a sad one.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me set this up. I got to set this up. So, a couple weeks ago, we reported on an industry-wide shakeup. The Last of Us came to Switch.
The big one that everybody has been waiting for on Switch has finally come. And
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us has come to Switch.
Well, ladies and
And
gentlemen,
it seems it was short-lived because you could say it's the last of The Last of Us on Switch.
well, that was real bad. Not gonna lie.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah, so there's not much to report here. The Last of Us clone called The Last Hope. It was this game that had no right to exist, but it did, and we talked about it. Like, why does Nintendo allow some stuff like this to be on the eShop? And it's now gone. Who took it down? Probably Sony. Probably Sony was like, "Yo, get this shit off of there, bro." Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, you can issue a takedown notice if you want anything like that, and they probably had to follow through on it because Nintendo looked at it, but I was like, "Oh damn, whoops, all bad,
Oopsie.
whoopsies." But yeah, man, just honestly, I believe it's on the behest of the store owner. Like, same with Steam. Steam's got to, even though they're not going to, they don't care enough. But I wish they would clean up their stores a little bit. There's so much bullshit and junk out there that is made for pennies on the dollar to make, I don't know, dollars on dollars. I don't know how the saying goes, but there's so much stuff out there that doesn't deserve to exist that does, that we as an industry should rally behind. Like, yo, stop doing this shit. We get enough bad fucking games from actual studios that spend $162 million on a video game. We don't need your fucking 99-cent game to come out and also suck. And then you gave them money. I don't know. Do you have anything to say on The Last of Us sadly getting pulled from the Switch, but predictively?
It was a good run. But now we lost such a fantastic game on the Switch.
It's probably still on Steam. You can probably still get it on Steam if you want to play it.
Probably.
Yeah. You can run it with ray tracing enabled. All right.
Hell yeah.
Capcom's Resident Evil 2 remake has now officially sold more copies than any other title in the 27-year history of the franchise, passing 12.6 million cumulative lifetime sales across console and PC. Earlier this week, Capcom updated its sales record for the 114 platinum titles the company has created throughout the years that have sold through more than 1 million units. The new list, which takes into account games sold up until the cutoff date, revealed that Resident Evil 4 2 wait, what? Resident Evil 2 Remake has now sold 12.6 million copies since its January 2019 launch, making it the #1 best-selling game, dethroning the previous #1 best-selling game, Resident Evil 7, at 12.4 million copies. So, congratulations, I guess, to Resident Evil 2. Let's see if Resident Evil 4 can get there.
I hope so.
Resident Evil 4 sales kind of confused me because they were a lot softer than I predicted. Like, they're not bad, obviously. I just predicted to be a little. I mean, it's a world-renowned video game. And I think the last time we got updates, yeah, it's like at like, I think, wait, didn't we say like last week it went past 5 or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which just seems kind of soft for that, you know. But again, it's a slow burn, so I don't know. That felt kind of weird. What do you think? I'm rambling.
Yeah, no, I hope it's. I mean, I hope it beats it because I mean, I honestly like it more than Resident Evil 2, but I understand why Resident Evil 2 is so great for a lot of people. So,
I mean, yeah, it was the realization of the dream of remakes. I mean, it pretty much defined what we expect in remakes
because
nowadays.
it's like a polar opposite of what it was before, and that's why it's so fantastic. And I totally agree. It is a fantastic game. I never beat, but I think it's a fantastic
45
game
minutes,
in its
man.
own. I
Give
know.
yourself 45 fucking
Well, I
minutes to
actually
beat
tried
the
to
game.
go back and play it, and I'm still lost in what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I'm just lost now. Like, I absolutely have no idea where to go. And I've been trying to look around everywhere, and I'm just lost.
You
So I'm
know
like,
this?
okay, this is
There's this wonderful
you
magical thing that we created
too.
called the
I know.
internet that you can make a
I
quick
know.
2-minute search and find a guide properly. Honestly, if it takes you 2 minutes, I don't know what you're doing. You can really type in RE4 walkthrough, or sorry, I keep saying 4, RE2 walkthrough, and there you go. But all right, let's move on. Not much to say outside of that. Just congratulations. I'm proud of you, Capcom.
Yeah.
You've been doing good out there for us. A little bit of a letdown with Exo Prime, but that's all right. Come back with the next one. Speaking of the next one, Baldur's Gate 3. We talked about it earlier. We've been playing it. So have a lot of people. A hugely successful video game. During its first week is reached a peak of 593,788 players on Steam, making it one of the most successful launches in recent memory. Logan, what do you got?
It deserves it, and I'm happy to see it. And I swear, the more I've been thinking about this entire podcast, man, this year just keeps getting more insane
It's
with like
absolutely stupid, dude.
a
This
bunch
is
of just. I think this year by far now already, and I don't think this is controversial to say. I think this year is already way better than 2018, and 2018 was a big year in gaming. This year, it's just dumb. Like it's insane. I feel like every like month we get something that just is so amazing and it blows up like no tomorrow. And it's crazy to think that even Hogwarts Legacy came out this year. Like what the fuck? I keep
yeah.
forgetting that came out this year. Like
Came out in
I
February.
literally keep forgetting that game came out this year. So it's like what the hell? This
I
year is stupid.
I kind of feel bad for it because you know it's gonna get snubbed at the Game Awards.
Oh yeah.
It just came out too long ago, and there's been too many other things. Like,
We got a lot of huge games to go.
but we still got Starfield and Spider-Man at the beginning of the
Yeah.
year, the two biggest games that we thought coming out this year, and they still haven't come out this year yet. And we've had so many things. I mean, we are moving into just uncharted waters in terms of the amount of quality we've gotten this year. Obviously, we talked about it. We're going to break it down. I don't think it's any spoiler to probably easily rank this among the best years in video games, if not the single greatest year in video games. Mostly due because COVID delayed everything to this year. So that's why we're getting the onslaught. Do not expect next year to keep up this same pace. I mean, you're probably going to get some good stuff, but it's probably going to slow back down to its normal. You get 4 or 5 massive games that really move the needle each and every year. But I think we can look back in 10 years and remember this year for what it is, just a continuous deluge of amazing video games. And with that, we've had amazing sales. The June 2023 numbers have been released by the MPD Group, which is not actually called the MPD Group anymore, but I refuse to call them Circa because that's a stupid fucking name. So I'm calling them the MPD Group. And, ladies and gentlemen, the PS5 has hit its stride. It is moving units out there. Surprising all by coming in at over 3 million units shipped in June 2023, which is an improvement year over year of 81%. The Switch came in second with 2.5 million units, which is a slight decrease of 5.6%, which makes sense because it's old as shit. And the Series X came in at 1.6 million units, which is a decrease of 24.5% year over year. So, man, the PS5, it's caught its stride, and nothing's really come out this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Final Fantasy came. That's a big game. Final Fantasy is a big game, but sold 3 million units in its first week. That's a big game. So
That's a big game, yeah.
but man, we haven't even got Spider-Man yet. So it's
When that comes out, ooh.
what's crazy to think about is I was doing, you know me, I love sales numbers. I'm way more into the sales stuff than you are, so that's fair. But I delve into this stuff. The PlayStation 5 is now only 2 months behind the PS4 in terms of how long it took them to reach this moment. So yeah, the PS4 reached 40 million units sold, only 2 months shorter than the PS5 did, and there were obviously no hiccups in terms of its production. So I think it's easy to say that. I mean, I guess it could die off, but I don't foresee that. I mean, Sony may have another 100 million unit console in their hands here.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty easy to say that, especially with the just incredible increase in its production. Once you were able to get these things, we saw it fucking take off. Like, it is rocketed out of I'd like to say the starting gate, but it got halfway through the race and then started running. But you can only do what you can do, man. But I'm happy. Obviously the Switch slowing down. It's old as shit, but that's always going to happen. Xbox, hopefully Starfield can move the needle for you. I know.
Yeah, also they need to make the Series X more available. I don't know what's going on with that. You got to make that more available if you want to get console sales. So hopefully they do that. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, again, when Starfield comes out, and as long as it scores very well, that will move consoles.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
I'll be very interested to see what the sales are for September, because I think
Yeah.
that'll be honestly a big teller of the glass ceiling for the Series X and S. Like Microsoft, I still have this feeling that Microsoft doesn't care how many boxes they sell anymore. They've given up on that fact. They just care about getting you into the ecosystem, getting you into Game Pass, getting you into the subscription services, and playing their games that way. I just feel in my heart of hearts that they just don't really care all that much. Obviously, you still care. You produce something, you want to sell it, but it's not their number one focus anymore. Whereas something like Sony and Nintendo, their number one focus is to push the box. They want you to buy the thing, And I just don't feel like Xbox, for good or bad, is in the same game anymore in terms of like wanting you to buy the box,
Mm-hmm.
Because it just doesn't feel like they're pushing it in anything. Like when was the last time you saw an Xbox Series X ad?
Never.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
I don't remember ever seeing one, to be honest.
yeah, I
Other
see.
than, well, when did what? Oh, Game Pass ads. That's the only time.
Yeah, you see Game Pass ads. That's what I'm saying. That's what they push. They do not push the box. You rarely ever see the box.
Is totally fair. I mean, that's just the move they're going for, and I honestly kind of agree. I do think Xbox just doesn't care about console sales anymore. And do I think that's such a bad thing? To be honest anymore, no.
I said my dream, and this isn't gonna happen because Microsoft has fucking essentially endless pockets. They can just push these things out. My dream is they just chalk it up to making the box and just make Game Pass everywhere. I can play Game Pass on my PlayStation. I can play it on my PC. They just...
Well, they did offer it to PlayStation. They said no.
That's not officially stated yet.
I
believe the conversation has been had, and I believe that Xbox wants it on there, but I don't think PlayStation will do that until Xbox stops making the box, because they're still in direct competition then. Once Xbox stops making the box, they're no longer in competition anymore, really, because PlayStation cares about your box.
I kind of hope they don't stop making the boxes at all, but I don't think they're going to be as much of a focus anymore. I don't know. It's going to be really sad when it does completely end with the boxes. And if they do that, that is quite a void in the market. Because let's be honest, Switch and PlayStation are on different terms. They aren't really kind of competing with each other, in my opinion.
Now you're left with...
If you just do Nintendo and PlayStation, that's a very weird competition.
Yeah, which is why I think they won't. But like I said, it's my dream that for them to do that, just so I can play... Whenever they come out with the next Gears, I can play that on whatever I have, That is my dream of dreams, but it's not going to happen because there would have to be somebody else, because you can't just leave PlayStation swimming alone in its own...
Or they might just go straight to freaking PC only. And they may just do like Game Pass on there, and then they'll probably keep Game Pass on like all the other things. I don't know, we'll see. But
I don't know.
I have a glimpse of hope that they probably won't give up on the box, because I like competition and I would rather them stay in it. And I don't want them to just completely give up. But I don't know. We haven't really seen them yet. And I feel like Starfield is really going to be the first spark of the flame for them this entire generation. The thing that is going to be the thing that people want to play. And so it has to do well. And if it does do well, I do think Xbox might think twice about not wanting to go for more boxes. So we'll see. Because right now, it's just, let's be honest, Xbox doesn't have games right now. Like, not a lot of games, at least. Yeah, they have Forza. That's great. They have, I think Hi-Fi is very fucking good, but it's not a AAA full-blown release game. It's a AA, but fantastic game, by the way. But this is going to be their big one. So we'll see. We'll see. I am very curious for September to roll around and to see if the Xbox consoles rise up in like sales. Because there are a lot of people that have been like, oh man, the fact that it's only coming to Xbox, they kind of want to get an Xbox because they don't want to get a PC. And I think that's one thing that people always think is funny is like when people say consoles are going to go away. No, they're not, because people always like simplicity. They like to have something to make things easier on their life. A lot of people don't care about going through and doing all these settings and messing with all this stuff. That's why consoles exist. Consoles are simple. You get a game, you put it in the system, or probably soon you won't be putting them in the system. You just buy the game and you start the game up. End of story. No setting anything up, no doing anything, no opening up game launchers. You just play the game. And that's why consoles will never go away, because people love them and it makes sense. So
Well,
I kind
and
of hope Xbox doesn't end it though.
oh, and like I said, they won't. That's just, again, I'm wishful thinking just because I want it all to be unified. But again, that won't happen. I think it's funny to worth noting. In the same June 2023, apparently there were 19,000 PS4 sold. Whoever you 19,000 people are, I,
Why?
I guess I guess knock yourself out. I mean,
I was thinking of the PS4 Pro, but like at that point, like just go get a fucking PS5, dude.
you want to know what's
Like,
stupid? You want to know what's stupid about these 19,000 people? Whoever you are, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm saying this act is dumb. At Target, we still had PS4 Slims in stock, right? Do you know how much the PS4 Slim is to buy new?
how much?
It is still $299.99. So for $100 more, you could have a PS5. Unless you care about the disc, and then you got to spend $200 more, yada, yada, yada. But still, for a baseline $100 more, you can go get a PS5. I don't know what you're doing out there. I don't know. Maybe Jimmy is a 5-year-old who really wants the PS4. I don't know. But continue on with the sales. It is worth noting that this month was PlayStation's most successful month in terms of units sold since June of 2010. 2010? What the hell does that mean? 2010, and its highest revenue since June 2018. That is exclusively for the month of June. So Sony's had their best June in almost a decade and a half. Congratulations to them. In terms of game sales, no surprise here. Diablo 4 debuted at number 1. Final Fantasy 16 debuted at number 2. Street Fighter 6 debuted at number 3. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom fell to 4. Hogwarts Legacy holding on at number 5. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 6. Star Wars Jedi Survivor fell to number 7. MLB The Show 23 fell to number 8. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales jumped back up to number 9, followed by Marvel Spider-Man to number 10. FIFA 23 at number 11. Mario Kart 8, fucking thing, at number 12. Dead Island 2 holding in there at number 13. Minecraft at number 14. Formula 1 23 debuts at number 15. Elden Ring still holding in there at 16. Story of Seasons A Wonderful Life debuts at number 17. God of War Ragnarok holding steady to 18. Resident Evil 4 falls all the way down to number 19. And Smash Brothers Ultimate at number 20. Dude, is Mario Kart fucking 8 ever gonna stop selling?
I don't get how they do it, man. How? I don't get how that game still is selling. Like, I feel like everyone that has a Switch by now has to have Mario Kart 8 by now.
That's not true. There's well, I forgot to put it in here, but there's now 129 million Switches. It has surpassed PS4. It is now the second best-selling home video game console of all time. It is only 24 million units behind PS2. But there's only like 52 million Mario Kart 8 sold.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Yeah, so not even half of them.
Damn.
Yeah, the attach rate of consoles is just a surprising number to me. Because, like, you think, like you said, if you buy a Switch, you get Mario Kart 8. But that's just simply not the
Because there's a lot
fact.
of bundles that come out, especially during like Christmas time, that have Mario Kart 8 like included. Like that's like a thing that's just like they're basically like, here, fucking take it. Here's a free game. Here's Mario Kart 8. Like I feel like everybody by now just has it. I don't know. It's just funny. But that's crazy that not only Mario Kart 8, but also Super Smash Bros. Is still up there.
Hey,
Crazy.
Shout out Spiderman, both Spider-Man games jumping back up into the top 10.
They must have had a sale going on recently.
The only thing I can think of is the PlayStation Showcase got people re-interested in Spider-Man, or Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse came out, the movie, in
Oh,
June as
yep, you're
well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those two things probably combined together got people interested. But man, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to be a huge seller.
But also Dead Island 2, man. How?
Holding
That
in
is
there.
wild. I mean, it did drop down to quite a bit. It was in 4th place and now it's down in 13th. But still, that's crazy.
All right.
Resident Evil 4 though had probably the biggest drop, dude. What the
Yeah.
hell, man?
That
That's
plummeted.
crazy. From 9th to 19th. Ugh. But still, it's in the top 20. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think that game's great. If you haven't played Resident Evil 4, go play it. That's
Yeah.
me.
The
It's great.
updated top 5 for the entire year of 2023. Hogwarts Legacy still at number 1, outselling The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, who is at number 2. Diablo 4
Damn.
debuts at number 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 4. Star Wars Jedi Survivor holding into the top 5 at number 5. Other notable games: Final Fantasy 16 debuts at number 9. Street Fighter 6 debuted at number 10. And Dead Island 2, Logan's Baby, holding in at the number 8th best-selling game of 2023 so
That
far.
is insane. Dead Island 2, oh my god, dude, that's crazy. I don't know. I am very happy for them because that game just has such a crazy story, and I can't believe it's actually doing as well as it is, and I'm very happy about it. Which
Hey,
means Dead Island
speaking
3, baby.
speaking of Mario Kart, in the top best-selling games of 2023,
Yep.
10 years after the game's official release, Mario Kart 8 is not number 15. All right, well, congratulations to all these games. Congratulations to PlayStation surpassing 40 million units. Congratulations to Switch surpassing 129 million, closing in at 130. I don't think you're quite going to get the PS2, but you've had an amazing
Who
run.
knows?
I mean,
I mean they did just drop their big boy and it still didn't push it enough. But I don't know, we'll see. They probably won't stop selling the Nintendo Switch when the new one comes out. So
yeah, we'll see. It may kind of climb and limp its way past the PS2, but I don't know, man. That'd be a monumentous occasion if it got past the PS2.
I mean, the fact that it's jumped all the way up to the 2nd place, though, that's very impressive.
I mean, it's been climbing
Especially after the
pretty
Wii U.
consistently. Pretty consistently, so. But all right, that's the end of the news that we have for you this week. Guys, if you have anything to say about anything that we went over this week, please let us know down below. We want to talk. We want to engage with you guys. We do this because we love talking about video games as a core vegan. Core vegan?
Or vegan?
The fuck's that mean? As a core reason why we do this podcast each and every week. So if you have anything to say, what are your hopes and dreams for the Switch 2? Are you going to play Jedi Survivor on PS4? And are you going to play Helldivers? You should. All right. We're going to go now to Let's Talk Reviews. We got a big week for you this week. I'm joking, by the way. It was like fucking nothing other than one game. So, but anyway. F1 Manager 2023 came out on PS5 for Xbox X and S and PC. Got an 81. Venba on PS5, Xbox X and S, Switch, and PC. Got a 78. And Baulders Gate 3 came out on PC and has a 92 right now. But that number's going to change because there's only 17 reviews. So they're still rolling in. So, another 90 game. Add it to the list, huh, Logan?
Yeah. God damn.
How many do you think we're going to end up with this year?
I really was gonna try to get that game too at the beginning of this fucking year, dude. But I had to be early access. It had to be, man. I would have snapped that thing up like no tomorrow because I knew that game was gonna score as high as it did. Damn it. It's probably still gonna be a 90. I feel like by the end of all of it.
I'm gonna talk to the guys, and we will probably change that rule unless they say no. But then it's 2v2, and the deciding vote would go to the owner, which is me. So it's going up pretty much. We're changing the rule. So, but yeah,
good. I'm fine with that next year. Yeah.
What a year, man! What an absolute year. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Metroid Prime Remastered, Resident Evil 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Street Fighter 6, Hi-Fi Rush, Dead Space Remake, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, Pikmin 4, Octopath Traveler 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and that's just this year.
That's just the beginning. Just think about that. That's just the beginning.
Yeah, we're only in July. Well, I guess we're in August now. Dude, it feels like we're done with this year, honestly. It does. All right. Speaking of what's next for you. We're going to go now to Out This Week. This is where obviously we go through and play the games. We don't play the games. We tell you the games that you get to play in the coming week. And here they are. On August 8th, Gord comes out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Tower of Fantasy comes out on PS5. WrestleQuest makes its launch on PS5 for Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. On August 9th, some game called 30XX comes out on Switch and PC. On August 10th, Atlas Fallen comes out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Stray makes its debut on Xbox Series X and X and PC. Stray Gods, the role-playing musical, comes out on PS5 for Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. And then on August 11th, the big one, House Flipper comes out on PSVR 2 and PSVR. And that's your week.
Wait, it's coming out on the old PSVR as well?
That's what it said. I double-checked it.
That's weird. Dude, this WrestleQuest game looks fucking cool, man. Check it out.
Oh,
It's
I've
literally
seen it.
basically it looks great. It looks great. I actually think it looks really, really cool. It's very unique. I like it when RPG things do some very unique stuff and it's cool. What the fuck is Gord?
What? I mean,
What is this
WrestleQuest
game?
kind of reminds me of, like, you know, that old like golf story that was like an RPG, a turn-based RPG set in like
Yeah.
golf stuff. So, and I'm really excited to see what Atlas Fallen is. I've had my eye on this ever since it got announced 2 years ago at this point, I think, at Summer Game Fest, and it just looked really cool. And I'll see how it's gonna be reviewed. It'll probably hit the mid-70s, but I'm interested to see how people think about it. Skill Up is very excited about it too. So we'll see.
It's like 30XX is like a Mega Man looking game.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never been a Mega Man guy, unfortunately.
Oh, but I guess you can make things too. I don't know. Yeah, weird.
Who the hell cares? All right,
But
Logan.
I'm super excited for House Flipper, man. It's gonna be great.
You should be. You know what I mean? It's gonna dethrone.
Flip some houses.
It has a good chance to dethrone Half-Life Alyx
Yeah, for sure. Best VR game. I agree.
of all time. You know, yeah.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think Half-Life Alyx has anything on it.
No.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get on out of here, guys. If you've been listening for this whole time, we just want to say thank you, as always. This, however, does bring us to the end of our show. A short one this week, but we gave you 2 long ones the past weeks. Everyone who's been watching and listening, we just want to take this time, as always, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, we could not be doing what we're trying to do here at the Experience Point. But please, help us to continue to grow by telling everyone out there that you know who even has the slightest appreciation for all things pop culture, that they have some new friends waiting to talk all sorts of fandoms with them. We would greatly appreciate it. Mr. Birdman, any last words?
Thank you guys for sticking by. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully next episode we'll update you with some quality bear sex that we're going to be doing in Baulders Gate 3. But other than that, if you stuck to this point of the episode, I appreciate you specifically. If you did stay to this point of the episode, comment down below bear sex. But the only other thing is I'll see you guys on the next episode and begin the countdown for episode 69, if you know what I mean. Other than that, I'll bring it back to Mike and we're going to get on out of here.
Yeah, I've started theorizing my script for that because I'm going to make a whole new script. It's going to be like an April Fool's episode. Like, I'm planning to throw in like just a bunch of random stuff and we're just going to have fun. It's going to make no fucking sense. But we are going to do a rank 'em. So if you have an idea,
shirt. You want to do Hawaiian shirts? Do you have a Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, I have that Batman Joker one.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. I've already started planning things out and trying to come up with something cool. By the way, I'm mad at you. You stole my bit I was gonna do at the end of this, but I'll still do it anyway. Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. This has been another episode of the XP Podcast brought to you by us here at the Experience Point. I hope everyone has a great week, and we'll talk to you on the next one. See you guys.
Adios.
I'm gonna go fuck a bear.